Where we at? We on YouTube first?
Yeah, we cooking on YouTube.
Man, I mean, we didn't get a chance to talk about that Will Smith like on camera, but I don't know if y'all feel, I don't know if y'all feel inclined to speak on it publicly.
Yeah.
Smith, why you acting like you don't want to talk about it?
Well, I'm not acting like that. I'm just said.
It's cool.
Well,
I feel like I said, okay, like spiritually, like I'm an Israelite, so I know like how we supposed to conduct ourselves. Like that wasn't a manly, patriarchal move that
Was
he
that
made.
righteous?
It wasn't righteous to do. It wasn't righteous to do because Chris didn't pose him no harm. He didn't pose Jada no harm. But was it entertaining? Absolutely. Do I desire to one day slap the fuck out of somebody like that? Absolutely. But is it righteous to do? No. But we human. Like, we put these people on pedestals like they don't have feelings and shit that they deal with and anger that they have to overcome. Like,
but I feel like he just wouldn't have did that if it was somebody else.
Did anybody suspect that Will Smith would slap somebody at the Oscars?
Nah.
Okay, so we can't say what a person will or won't. You don't know unless they're put in that position.
I would have loved The Rock to tell that joke.
The Rock isn't a comedian.
I think he would have went up there and slapped The Rock.
And it had just been a squabble.
There is a school of thought that says that joke was written too.
Yeah,
like
somebody else wrote it, and it wasn't wrote by Chris Rock, and it was impromptu. It wasn't on the prompter. It wasn't, and they also said that Chris Rock ain't the one that wrote it, and they said it wasn't even in rehearsal. He didn't even rehearse that joke. That was like
on the fly.
Yeah.
It was him.
Well, if nobody else wrote it and Chris Rock said it, then effectively Chris Rock wrote the shit. Like that's his shit. But what I did, I mean, you never know any of this shit, man. But I heard that someone else actually wrote that. Hit your mic, 2P. But I mean, like, who really gives a fuck, man? Like, what the fuck is this shit going? Well, how is this shit gonna ever affect any of us, man? It got the Oscars hot. You damn sure gonna watch the Oscars next year just to see.
For what? Ain't nothing gonna happen ever again.
They gonna have security all on the front row.
You feel me? It gonna be all
Nobody stopped Will Smith from walking up onto the stage though.
Like, it's Will Smith walking to the stage.
Nobody
after he just insulted his wife.
Cause they thought maybe he gonna make him like because we've seen that before. Wait. So like there've been times before. Like remember one of my favorite comedian times was when it was some guy who's never famous anymore. He's only famous for this one moment. He was telling jokes and he tried to heckle Jamie Foxx. So Jamie Foxx started roasting him live during his session. That was the time that somebody should have got smacked. Cause Jamie Foxx was literally roasting this dude that's on stage with a microphone. Yeah.
I ain't never seen nothing. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. Like
you ain't never seen that?
I ain't never seen nobody get slapped.
Oh.
On stage.
At a pristine event like that.
And you never will again.
Well, shit, Kanye West though. Kanye West did say that one shit about. He didn't slap nobody, but he got on the stage. He said, "Excuse me."
Beyonce should have won this award.
Took the mic, yeah. I mean, that was kind of, I mean, it's not slapping anybody, but it's damn sure kind of.
What they doing like these MK Ultra mind tricks making them do that?
That's a whole nother conversation. We'll be here all night. So
probably.
Type in the comment section on YouTube. You got like us talking about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, man. You ready to start?
Good old Will Smith. Yeah, let's get it cooking.
Okay. It's about to cook. Okay.
We live right now.
We're already live?
Do your shit, Peanut.
Oh, yeah, what's good? It's your boy Peanut, a.k.a. Dash Resource. I got my man Stacking Smith.
What's up with it? What's up, you guys, man? Welcome to the Legendary People Podcast. If you're watching this podcast right now, we want to remind you, you're watching on Facebook, please go to our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, ring the bell notification so you can get alerted every time we drop new content. We shoot shows down there every day, man. So make sure that you guys is tapped into our YouTube channel. We want to say what's up to all our sponsors. Sheiks. Go to Sheiks for breakfast. They got the best breakfast in the city for sure. And they also got other stuff that you can go lunch, dinner, and all of that too. But they also is a good kick it spot. So go and check out my bros, Sheiks. Agnes All Natural Grill. Now they actually have the best lunch in the city, man. My bro North on the corner of 3rd and Wayne. Good old jerk chicken bowls, chicken cheese steaks, pineapple bowls, cocoa bread, and brown sugar lemonade at Sheik's. I mean, at goddamn it.
I'm taking a point right now. Give me that damn point right now.
Go to Agnes All Natural Grill for lunch. They got the best lunch in the city.
Take a point. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're ever injured in any type of way, call attorney Michael Wright, 937-222-7477. Make the right choice. Attorney Michael Wright. When you want to get lit a little bit, get you some good old Kiara wine. My bro Antoine Cunningham on Facebook, or you can go and swoop it up at More for Less. So that's Kiara wine. The shoparea.com is like the baby Amazon, from the store to your door in 4. Delivery is always free. The shoparea.com. We're at T-Shirt Kings, t-shirtkings247.com. Go for your mouth in the metaverse and Horizon, and on Hub's link. Man, come and shop with us. VR, get you a good old Oculus VR headset and come and see what we're doing in this 3D VR space, man. Yes. Go for your mouth, T-Shirt Kings. We building a whole bunch of shit.
Shooting a movie, baby, in the metaverse.
The best shopping experience that you could ever have, man. Just pulling up on us in the metaverse. So
I can get goals in the metaverse.
Yes,
no doubt.
I can't wait to get my goals.
No doubt.
In the metaverse and in real life.
So,
in real life. Okay.
Sell Stocks Not Dope every Sunday, my bro. Peanut Johnson teach you how to get a big old bag from investing your money in stocks, buying and selling stocks, trading, all of that. He teaches you how to do it every Sunday on his YouTube channel, which is the Dash Resource channel, every Sunday at 8 p.m. Sell Stocks Not Dope. Go for your mouth, T-Shirt Kings, Camera Kings, and Sell Stocks Not Dope right here at Go for Your Mouth. All right, so now, without further ado, my brother Peanut Johnson, over to you, bro.
Brother, you bodied that, man. Again, you know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
I mean, a little slip up there, but I mean, you got it back. You know what I mean?
Nuts.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna need that point though.
Players fuck up.
So
okay.
A wise man once said, "Players fuck up."
I ain't never heard nobody say
that. It's a wise. See that?
I never heard nobody say that.
Well, if he say something that don't make sense, take a point from.
Okay.
You have heard somebody say
that.
Took
it from you.
Yeah, but she wasn't on camera when I did that shit. So nobody knows. But you have seen. Have you ever seen Next Friday?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, you heard Mike Epps when he was in there trying to fix his shit. He was like, "You fix your belt, player," and he said, "Players fuck up." There you go. Give me. So now I take a point from you for not remembering that shit. All right, here we go. All right, so let's go.
So man, listen here. Here on the Letter People podcast, man, we have some people that we say, you know what I'm saying, are legendary. You know what I mean? Like literally living legends. You know what I'm saying? Then we have people that come on our show who have tremendous stories that are just legendary within themselves, and then we have stories like these that are connected to both. We literally have a legend that's been through some legendary things in her life. I would like to introduce y'all to Madam J.L. Hoskins. How you doing, Jerricha?
How you doing?
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Y'all took my Facebook name.
Yeah. So, here on the Legend of People podcast, we're going to find out the origins of our legends. Without further ado, where'd you grow up?
I grew up everywhere. Primarily Trotwood, Ohio. My mom moved like we was in the military, but we wasn't. So Trotwood, Dayton,
what was the longest stint you went to elementary school?
Longest stint I went to elementary school. Madison Park. Okay. That's the longest I stayed at elementary school.
And like, what was that school like for you? Like, well, was this like the third school, the first school, the second school?
That was my first school. I know I started kindergarten there. I went to kindergarten to 5th grade there. It was cool little vibe, you know. Kindergarten was lit. Shout out to Miss Ruth's. Madison Park was cool. Yeah. A lot of fun times there.
Who were some of your friends there?
I knew you was gonna ask me something like that. Think, who was my friends there? Okay, Cameron Van Long. We both got in trouble because I actually cut up my uniform and skirt and blamed it on him. Because I didn't want to get in trouble. So I remember him. I was a bad kid in school. It was like the kids in the upper grades would be like, they'll call me their niece or their daughter in school. Like, So
but
like
the battery cables on you to make you do stuff.
Yeah, so Danielle Flowers, Erin Williams, she used to always break me out of fights. Those are the ones that like stick out. I didn't really have like friends. Never been friendly.
Yeah. So like other than like Miss Stevie and stuff like that, like what kind of student were you though? Like
I
when
was
it came
a
to classwork.
What's crazy is I always made honor roll. Like even like getting in trouble, like all the principals would be like, she's a straight A student. How's she a straight A student and she gets suspended every week? Like,
wow.
I knew like education was extremely important.
And while moving from school to school to school to school to school, you still made sure to.
I think I graduated with like 39 credit hours.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's how many schools I went to.
So what's the normal
24.
amount of 24? Damn.
Yeah.
So like,
That's
what was
good.
your early home life like?
Okay, so early home life. I'll say from birth to like 8 years old, home life was normal. I have like normal childhood fun memories of toys and lollipops and gumdrops.
But was it mom and dad there during that time?
No, just my mom. My mom raised us. I did have a guy, like, she said he was Puerto Rican. I knew he wasn't my daddy because we ain't had the same hair. But I called him my dad for a little bit. Right. They was together till I was like 3, 4. Yeah, that's probably the only father figure from like birth to 8 years old that I know.
So like, did you have any other siblings or anything like that?
Yes, I have a sister and a little brother, so I'm the oldest.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So like, what kind of stuff was like mom doing with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the early finest like memories, like the good memories of mom.
Good memories.
Yeah.
She used to buy me Air Maxes.
Okay.
She used to buy me Air Maxes. I loved Air Maxes.
What's up with Pops?
Pops.
Your dad.
Daddy wasn't there to take me to the fair. I'm just playing. My dad, he was not there. My dad was incarcerated. You ain't see Austin Powers when his daddy didn't show up? Yeah. I sing. No, like to this day, anytime my dad like shows up at my salon, I sing that to him when he's walking through the door.
Wow.
Everybody thinks it's hilarious. And he hates it, but I do it every time because he wasn't.
Yeah.
And all he says is, I was in prison, but you weren't there.
Right.
So I didn't meet my dad till I was 11. Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't know my real dad.
So, like, what kind of person was he from what you've learned and gathered?
From what I've learned and gathered, I got my hustle mentality, like, genetically from my father. Like, all of his children, like, the ones that I've met, like, know how to make $1. Like, that's not something that my mom taught me, for real. So, I know that it was in my blood, but I guess it came from him.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So like later on, you started getting a little bit of trouble and stuff like that of that nature.
Later on, I started like going through like trauma. So when I was 9 years old, okay, my mom met this guy, and she started like letting us go over like his family's house. She named this woman my godmother, and we would go to her house. When I was about 9 years old, one of her brother's best friends had molested me and a couple other kids like that were staying there. So we would go over there every single weekend. So that's pretty much when like childhood was like not childhood no more.
Right.
We talk. I mean, with molestation, it was you and other. How old was this person?
Whew. I was 9 years old. Okay, as an adult, let me think how old he may have been. 22 to 24 years old. They were definitely in their 20s. They definitely were able to buy alcohol. It was multiple people? Yeah, we're going to get to that part of the story. But yeah, like okay, so she was like 600 pounds. She didn't have a lot of friends. So she let everybody come to her house. Like, it wasn't a background check. Nobody really checked on the backgrounds of these people.
So she was just happy to have people in the house.
People would come in the house and
just use up all her amenities
and go. Like thinking back, like they would give children alcohol. Like I remember, y'all ever heard of this drink called Pucker? Y'all remember that?
Yeah,
like
Pucker.
Back in the day.
Puckers, yeah.
Yeah, I never saw it as an adult, but I remember like one weekend her giving some to the kids, like letting the kids taste it, and I remember being like, "Nah, like I don't think we're supposed to be doing that, but it's your type of party, you know."
Right.
So who was this? Run it back for me one time.
So this is a complete stranger, essentially.
How would how'd you go over their house though?
My mom would drop me off
For what?
so she could kick it on the weekends.
And you didn't know this lady?
I mean,
Your mom knew her.
not for that long. Not.
So when the and is this like molestation it probably is a wide range of things.
Yeah.
So this is like just touching and actual sex.
Touching. No, not that.
It didn't go that far.
It didn't go that far.
Well,
Yeah.
thank God. Thank the Most High.
I'll praise the
all
Most
day.
High that did not happen. Yeah, I don't remember her when I was in kindergarten or first grade or second grade. Like, I feel like I met her when I was like third or fourth grade, and that's when I started like going to her house. And that happened up until I was 15, 16.
What? Did you tell your mom any of this stuff?
Okay, so yeah, that ended up coming out because one of the older kids came out and they considered that statutory rape. Cause like I think she was like I was 9. I think she was like 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
She was older than me, like maybe 15. Nah, she was like 12 or 13. And they tried to say that it was statutory rape because of her age. I think that's what happened in that situation.
What sparked the investigation?
Yeah, so she went and when they found out that it happened to her, they took me to Children's Hospital, and I'm sitting in the corner like, shit, I ain't saying nothing. And then they ended up getting it out of me. So, but he only went to jail for like a couple years, and we ended up like running into him.
This is what kills me because they'll sit somebody like Rollo in prison for filming like 1 million years over some weed.
Yeah.
But you go touch a kid and you get out.
And then you could be around other kids.
But I think that one thing that you have to understand is that the creators of America are all pedophiles. And so they're going to make laws and stuff to benefit them and make sure that they're not tucked away. Like going back to the whole Greek culture, the way that you become an aristocrat is basically through having sex with a young child, a protege that you're bringing up.
Yep.
And then that's what gets them into being an aristocrat or some kind of party leader themselves. So, like, I don't know, man. That shit is like literally terrible, though. But it's amazing that a lot of the queens that we bring onto the show all have similar stories of just some type of inappropriate touching with some old man that has absolutely no business doing any of that shit, but for whatever reason,
it's like
that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, let me ask you this, and this will get back to your life story and stuff. But what is a proper punishment for somebody who molests a child? Castration off the rip. Like, let's say they do something minor for just touch them on their butt.
Castration. What you want to touch a kid for?
Right. Yeah. Immediately.
Yeah.
And if we had stricter laws that would strike fear into their heart, man, that would let them know, like, stop fucking around.
Yeah.
But the soft shit, like, I don't know, man. Like, it should be harsher punishments for most of these crimes that people are committing.
Yeah, I mean, back when our ancestors was ruling the world, like, that was death.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so we in the land of our captivity, so it's not like that no more.
Yeah. The Bible, you know what though? The Bible does open some of those paths too, because you got scriptures in the Bible that's not an 8 or 9 year old, but running up on that like 12 years age, 12 years.
Yeah, back then, like, I guess once a child got their like menstruation,
yeah,
like that's when they were of childbearing That was like the customs back then.
Right.
You know, and then the whoever took her on, like, took care of her. She had those children, but she was taken care of.
Right.
Life is different now. Like, the women choose they mate. The men back then chose the husbands for their daughters, and those daughters were taken care of. Sarah didn't want for nothing.
I didn't think about the women choose they mate here back then. A man just like.
No, and they didn't come empty-handed.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, that's how it essentially was. Like,
well, now a woman chooses.
Yeah,
yeah, now,
I didn't never think of it that way.
Do you think it should be like that right now?
Hell yeah.
A woman should be able to choose her man?
No. Mm-mm. Me and my husband have this conversation all the time. Like, I love my husband, but that the more that we study scripture, I understand the importance of having your father in the choosing of your mate. Like, it's certain stuff that just ain't gonna go down if your father is a righteous man.
That's right.
You're not gonna be slaving and bear children and getting your ass.
Your father can pick a better mate for you than you can.
Yeah, and you're required. Like, a lot of these girls end up, single mothers. They, like, looking back on my life, like, I wish I had a father that, hell no, you can't deal with my daughter. It has saved me a lot of headache, for real. But that ain't the way this world is no more.
All right, let me ask you this. So when we dealing with, and this is something that I've been just building on a lot myself, you know, when it comes to a situation like a child being molested, when it comes to a situation like this 14-year-old kid falling out of the roller coaster and just dying and hitting the ground and actually living for a little while longer and then being taken to the hospital and die, where do you think that the Most High is with that type of stuff?
Well, the Most High tells you that it's better to tie a meal around your neck. What's that scripture? It's better to tie a meal around your neck. Basically, it's better to kill yourself than to harm a hair on the head of one of his children. So
But can the Most High protect his children?
He always protects us, but the Most High's will has to be done. Sometimes we don't like his will that's done, but
so is it the Most High's will for children to be molested? Because let me ask you this.
Let me answer that question.
Okay.
So I feel like certain things that happen to us make us who we are as people, period, point blank. And though that may not have been, there are evil people that exist on this earth.
Yes.
Like, some people literally, like, act out on their impulses and do unclean things. There's a punishment for them. But for me, and I asked this question, like, when I was going through, like, dang, why does this have to happen to me? Like, but at the end of the day, it's helped me to save other children from, it happening to them. It's helped me, like...
And how many people do you think are as forward-thinking and intelligent and bright as you are? Out of 10?
Out of 10, 2.
2. Right.
2.
So, let's ask this. This is even a better question. Out of 10 people that have been molested, how many of them end up becoming a business owner and a legendary People podcast candidate like you? Out of 10. Out of women that get molested, how many come out to be as good as you are?
It's a very low number.
Right. So with that being said, you can't really say that being molested forms people into being. I know that, but I think that's for anybody that may be watching. It's kind of like, you get molested in order to become something great. You learn a lesson in life, and it kind of shapes you into being somebody that can go out and help other people.
Let me add another perspective to this also. Another variable in this. So scripturally, it tells you, like, your children can suffer from sins that you have committed.
The same thing as fair.
So we don't really get to. That's why you have to live righteously, because you don't really know how your karma gonna come down the pipe. Your seed could suffer from that. So it really all goes back to us just being righteous and keeping the commandments.
And does the Bible actively promote reincarnation? Is that what that is? Reincarnation?
No, where in my statement did I say something about reincarnation?
You didn't, but you did. And you did by default. Because what we're saying is the Most High, in one scripture in the Bible, it does say that you will not pay for someone else's sins. But then there is one that says that you will suffer for the sins of your fathers to their grandfathers to the third or fourth generation. Yeah. So with that being said,
hold on, back up. Repeat the part where you said the Bible says that you won't suffer for the sins of somebody else.
Right. The Bible has a scripture, and we can look it up if we want to go there. Okay. But the Bible does say that you won't pay for the sins of anybody else, as you shouldn't. Like, for example, unless reincarnation is valid.
The scriptures are talking about like people that are at the age of accountability when he's speaking like that, right?
Yeah, but I'm still saying like it's not right for me to pay for something that my father does, because like let's just
we all do.
We may, but it's not right. So what I'm saying is this. Like, let's just take this real time. Okay. Let's say today, I go out and I shoot somebody on 3rd Street and the police cannot find me nowhere. I escape. So they go and get my son and lock him in jail. Is that right? Is that right? The answer is no, of course. So,
but that's not how that law technically works in the scriptures. But I'm listening.
Well, all I'm saying is that is a point blank illustration of it's not right for us to suffer for some things that Adam did 6,000 years ago. Like, honestly,
but I mean, like, even in scripture they say that like women have like cycles because of what someone did centuries and centuries.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, this is the thing.
Those are two things on your body that's happened because of somebody else.
This is the thing too. Like our ancestors should have thought about all that before they entered into a covenant with the Most High. Like you don't take a blood covenant if you're not gonna word is bond. They said
he like Pooh
whatever.
Shicey, bro. He
wasn't playing.
Really like that.
He took us out of.
But why is the children of Israel, who are my forefathers and my people, okay? Why are they so dysfunctional? And the Most High chose them to be His people.
We weren't always dysfunctional.
Every corner that you turn in the Bible, the children of Israel have always been disobedient to the word of the Most High, except for a few period of time. Yes. But for the most part, we're always on punishment. We always in captivity, and the Heavenly Father is always upset with us.
We always be in punishment, and we always be in captivity because we are always disobedient. The same principles that you have with your children. So it's crazy. I just did another podcast like Sunday on this stuff. So, okay, my children, right? My children, I don't tell them they have to go to college. They don't really have many chores around my house. They're kids. Like, I tell them pass math, reading, writing, and do the dishes, make sure your room is clean. Those are your responsibilities as a child.
That don't sound too much.
If you come to me and you ask me for some V-Bucks and your room dirty, why are you? What you come to me for?
Right.
You're not doing nothing that I'm asking you to do. Why do you want things from me?
Exactly.
That's
accountability.
It's accountability. The disobedience is like, how can I state this? For me, this is how I parent my children. Certain things that my children may do, they may get in trouble for outside of my home. It makes me reflect as a parent, like, okay, what am I not instilling in them that they feel like they can go outside of my house and do these things? Mm-hmm. It makes me look at myself again, like, okay, let me switch some stuff up. Now, with the Most High and us, like, we literally got everything written out. I don't know how this went this way, but we got everything written out. Eat clean, rest on the 7th day, keep the feast days, treat your neighbor like yourself, and should be righteous. It's not hard to do. I do it. It's not hard to do. And I'm not out here molesting kids. I don't have those unclean thoughts. I don't want to kill nobody. I ain't looking at my brother like I'm gonna rob you. I don't have those feelings because I'm trying to be righteous.
Right.
So it's a path of free will. Okay, so this is turning to the other podcast. So free will, right? I prayed about this like in February because I'm like, dang, what is free will? If he got control of everything, why don't he just let us make us do what he wants us to do?
Right.
Like when you get a wife, or because that's what the covenant that we in with the Most High, like it's like a marriage covenant. Okay, when you seeking a wife, do you want to be married to somebody that don't like love you? They only with you because they getting something out of you?
Right.
No.
So the Most High in free will, right? This is his will. His will is always going to be done. This is what man calls free will. Path 1, path 2. You're going to end up at his will no matter what.
Right.
But the path you choose is going to be how difficult is that path to his will. Are you going to take the path that he told you to take and you hit some bumps in the road? Or are you going to take your own path and damn near die before you even get there?
That's hard.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's there. Like we either gonna do it or we not, and we can play. That's one thing I don't really I ain't gonna say I don't debate about, but man, Torah is life. Like I'm not gonna ever stray away from keeping the laws. I question the Most High when I have questions, but my human mind ain't gonna never understand like the Most High and how he does things, because why do he wake me up every day?
Right.
I mean, that's another question. Why?
I'm supposed to be here to do something.
Indeed.
Right.
Indeed. Well, there is a lot of like, I feel like the Most High has given me everything that I got. I definitely, I'm Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatah all day, right? But with that being said, I think that the Israelites in general, especially the brothers and sisters in America who know that they're Israel, I think that we focus on a lot of the punishments and not the rewards. Like exactly when we're trying to find the examples of why we the children of Israel, we'll go to Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68 instead of going to Deuteronomy 1 through 14, where we talk about the blessings and what'll happen if you do right.
Are you talking about verse 1 through 14?
1 through 14 says what will happen if you do follow the laws, and it talks about all of the wonderful things that will happen to you. But instead, we go straight to 15 through 68 and focus on the curses. And we continue to look at each other.
I think that when people teach from that perspective, because I still, minister in that, but I think it's when people use Deuteronomy 28, like, in my opinion, if you read that and you don't make the connection that is a black person that he's talking about, you're not gonna believe that we're the children of Israel,
right?
Like, because realistically, in verse 1 through 14, it says we'll be the lenders and not the borrowers. That's not the condition that we're in right now. So
right, but it does provide instruction on what to do. All I'm saying is read it all.
Yes.
Don't start with the curses. I mean,
for real, read from Genesis. Like, read from Genesis where Abraham's father was worshiping other gods, and Abraham was in the middle of that hill, and he looking up at the moon. He like, my daddy worshiped the moon, but somebody made the moon. Right. Like, why he worshiping who made this that he's worshiping? Like, it don't got to start in Deuteronomy. It could literally, like, start in Genesis. Like, and you can see Abraham's seed was blessed and promised to be as numerous as the stars. But, again, the Most High made all them promises to Abraham, and look what his seed is doing. Abraham did what he was supposed to do. He taught his children. He taught his wife. He taught the people around him. And it's a game of telephone. Like, that's why we're in the condition we're in now, because we've gotten so far away from our Creator. And I'll say this to go back to what we was initially talking about. If my mama was a commandment keeper and had that spiritual guidance, a lot of the decisions that she made and how she raised us as children, I wouldn't have experienced those things. Like, And for me, like my children, there are things that they are never going to experience because of the path that I chose to walk. I'm not concerned with being at the club and being in the streets. I'm concerned with being at home and being a mother.
Yeah.
So I don't need to drop my kids off at no babysitter.
So like I want to kind of get into that, because like that kind of where your story comes back to life.
Yeah.
Because what were some of the things that you got into that eventually led to, you know what I'm saying, your mother dropping you off or something like that?
Yeah. So I'll say like 9 to 15, she still sent us to, my godmama's house. Like, of course, 15 years old, I'm starting to fill out. But I've always been a t-shirts, jeans type of girl. I don't wear revealing clothes. I've never been that type of woman. So, my godmother's brother ended up molesting me when I was 14. I was 14.
So this
probably about to be
the second
15.
person.
This is the second person. This is the best friend. Like the one that molested me when I was 9, this is his best friend. They're best friends. Disgusting. 600-pound man.
Jesus
just
Christ.
Disgusting people. And that, for me, shit, that sent me into a whirlwind. Like, I was already, like, going through it, like, man, I was like suicidal at 12 years old, like, because I didn't know how to process like what had like happened. So
Right.
I'm acting out. My mama, she ain't
being receptive at all.
she not being a mama. She not no. And it's like I would go through it at home with her, and I get to school, and that's why I say you don't never know like what that you don't know what nobody going through. You can't
Right.
judge how a person react. People picking on me and want to pick fights with me, you gonna get your ass whooped because I want to whoop my mama's ass, but I can't fight her. So
Right.
now you about to get it. Like, it was more so I would get into altercations and fights at school. That's what pretty much my trouble was. I wasn't no thief and thought, and I wasn't doing all that stuff. Like, so I say 15. She ended up dropping me off at daybreak because, man, why she drop me off at daybreak?
What was that last day with your mom like?
That last day with my mama, let me think. She dropped me off at that break when I was 15. Okay, I had gotten into a fight. I was going to CTC.
Okay.
I would tell them girls that I was going to whoop their ass. I did. Scout Signer. I would tell them that. This one girl, she had to get it, though. So, I beat her up or whatever. And my mama had came to get me from school, and she like, you made your sister go into the mental ward. I'm like,
What?
I know I fuck it up, but the mental ward, like, man,
Your
she
little
took me.
sister.
My little sister. She took.
Was it true?
This is after I had came out and told her that I was molested. Like,
This is after.
this is like a month or two. I'm gonna say at most 4 months after I had got molested, like, cause we got into it. She tried to tell me I was a liar. Like, she needed a babysitter. She didn't want to stop sitting me over there. So for me to come out and say that, and to sit across the table from that man and say like, you did that shit, like, she had to paint me to be this troubled kid that was lying because she needed a babysitter.
Right.
So like when it happened, when everything happened, man, my mama had told me that we was getting evicted, like, because she spent money to get him a lie detector. She said she took the rent money to pay for him to get a lie detector test, and it came back that he didn't molest me. And I'm like, well, why wasn't I there?
Right.
Like, I'm like, she kept doing stuff to think it was gonna change my story, and I'm like, damn, you believe me when I was 9? Like, she's like, I mean, you like boys now. What's wrong with him touching you? I'm like,
What the?
I'm like, everything is wrong with a grown ass man touching your 15-year-old child. Everything is wrong with that, ma'am. So she we kept going over there. Man, he'll do the sickest stuff. Like, after I told on him, like, they'll buy all the kids in the house something to eat and
Not get you nothing.
not give me nothing. I gotta clean up everybody's mess. They do fun stuff with the kids. I'm being punished for telling, essentially, So we end up getting into it. And yeah, she ended up taking me to daybreak.
Were you kind of relieved to go?
Low key, yeah. Yeah. Because it was, man, like as an adult now, right? I shouldn't have never been that sad. Like, I was a very sad kid. Wow. I remember always crying. Like, I always cried. Like, to the point where, like, I wake up in the morning putting cold rags on my eyes because my eyes would be so swollen because I done cried the night before, you know, about my mama, you know. So, and she, like I said, she used to do little shit like, I was going to CTC. We had laptops or whatever. They didn't work off campus. We didn't have Wi-Fi in our house. Like, right. My mama ain't have money like that. So she asked to use my laptop one night, and I gave it to her. Like, I'm like, it's not going to work. Like, she thought I was being a smart ass. So when I came downstairs in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, she stole on me, like, in the dark. And my mama was, like, one of them 90s mamas that wore rings on every finger. Yep. I acted like she was an intruder, and I went on ahead and whooped her ass. Like, we went on ahead and fought. She made me walk from, we stayed in Covey Run. She made me walk from the back of the complex to my god sister's house in the front, barefoot in the snow. Called the police on me. And when the Miamisburg police came, I said I absolutely fought her back. My eye gashed, like my pupil was red, like they charged me with unruly. They ended up sending me back home.
Charged you?
Yeah. It looked like my mom got in a fight.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I was defending myself. Right. Like, you woke
I know
up.
What that meant when you said it looked like my mom got in a fight.
Yeah, you woke up and you done woke up in the middle of the night. You know, you're not really. I don't wake all the way up. I want to pee and go right back to sleep. Yeah. Like, I'm not bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I'm half asleep. You want to punch me in my face over something I told you wasn't going to work? Like, you're crazy. Right. So I went to school. I remember, like, I was in Miss Norvell's class, and the allied health teacher came over, and they made me do an eye exam because my eye was so messed up. I'm like, I can't even see. Right. And I remember my teacher pulling me into her office, and she like, God bless Miss Norvell. Shout out to Miss Norvell. I think she's the principal at CTC now. But she like, you want me to call Children's Services? I'm like, no, because I got a brother and sister. Like, they need my mama. Right. So, man, she didn't want me to finish hair school. Like, my mom, her father did everything to try to get her to where I am. You know, he paid for her to go to hair school. She spent the money. Like, she didn't do what she was supposed to do. She chose her path, you know. Right. So she did everything in her power to make sure I didn't graduate. She came in, like I said, she came and got me from school, and she told me, like, oh, your sister's in the mental ward. I'm like, damn, why? You drove her crazy. Man, we pull up. She like, psych, you're coming here. I said, but ain't nothing wrong with me, you know. She like, I can't deal with you. You can't stay in my house no more. I need to find somewhere for you to go. So they evaluate me. They're like, there's nothing wrong with her, you know.
How'd you feel in that moment of your mom just being like, nah,
she don't love me no more?
Yeah.
Boy, that hurt my little feelings. Hurt my little sweet potato heart. But, I mean.
Because even though, like, you and your mom getting into it, it's still your mother.
That's still my mama. And I'm like, I felt at the time, like, man, we can work this out. You just gotta chill. Like, you ain't gotta do all this. Like, but, shit. Man, she went on a world tour. I remember her driving me to everybody. Like, take her. I don't want her no more. And I don't know how we ended up at daybreak. I do know how. Because she tried to get me to get out the car in the middle of the street downtown. I'm like, where am I about to live? I ain't about to fight you. Where am I about to live? You know. So she took me to daybreak. They give you a 14-day stay. Back then, they gave you a 14-day stay where the parent gets a break, the child gets a break, but you have to come get your child on the 14th day. They call her on the 14th day, and they're like, hey, her time is up. And I remember the little case manager called me up to the desk. She said, your mom says she not coming to get you. I said, okay. Well, what happens next? They're like, we're going to call a children's services worker, and they started the case.
But just go through some of these days of the 14th day. So, of course, you know, so like the first couple of days, you mad as hell still with your mom. Mm-hmm. Was there any point during that time that you was like, man, you kind of missed to go home?
Yeah, like, why can't I go home? Like, I'll stay here, but I eventually want to go home. Like, me and my brother, like, I helped to raise her children. Like, I was there with them 24/7. I'm thinking about them like, man, where they at? Like, because I know your ass ain't at home, you know. Ironically, 2 years later, she did the same thing to my little sister. Dropped her off at daybreak. So, you know, she, they called Children's Services. They came out. They was weighing me and asked me what I eat at home. And I'm like, shit, peanut butter, jelly, and noodles. They're like, that's it? I'm like, I mean, if a nigga came over, we got a little thin steak, some Velveeta, but other than that, that's our diet. Like, oatmeal pies. You know, she marking the jugs in the refrigerator. You can't touch her juice or nothing. Drink water and milk. Like, prison for real. Whatever. But, drop me off. I ended up going in the foster care. Like, my first foster parent was my grandparents.
What was that like?
Yeah. I was only there for 5 days.
Why only 5 days?
Because. So, my grandparents are old. They were old at the time. And for real, like, I was just out of control. Not out of control. Like, I didn't know how to control my anger. So, like, I remember my grandpa dropped me off at school one morning. And I knew I was going to go to school and beat this girl up. But I didn't even think, like, you kind of, like, in foster care, you kind of want to chill now. But she had it coming. So, I think the school called him 3 minutes after he dropped me off. And told him, like, she just got into a fight. Yeah, you need to come get her. She's harmed this child. So, he came and got me. He was...
So, was there cell phones back then?
No. That's why I be telling people, like, it wasn't no cell phones when I was doing
So,
that.
he drove all the way home to a voicemail to have to turn right back around.
But we lived in Trotwood. They lived in Trotwood, so it was still a long drive. It was he shouldn't have had to come and get me.
I take my kids to school every morning. That will piss me off.
He was pissed. He said, "I knew by the look in your eyes that you was about to do that shit." Cause I was just silent the whole ride. Like,
oh god.
I was silent.
A parent no. Like, I'll take my son to school one time and he just too jittery in the morning. I'm like,
what you about to do?
Yeah.
I was calm.
A few moments later, phone call rang.
It was Jerricha. Everybody always called about Jerricha.
Okay, so.
But I'm getting my payback.
Okay.
My oldest son, Cameron.
So what happens next after, you know what I'm saying, you get suspended and he got to pull right back up?
He came and got me, and that day we had a meeting with Children's Services because for real, I was supposed to go back with my mom.
Right, and that would be something temporary with your grandparents.
There was something temporary. Well, my mama didn't show up to the meeting to take me back. My great aunt did though, and she was a cosmetologist, and she ain't had no kids. Like, she had kids, but they was adults, you know. So, I stayed with her for about 4 or 5 months, and she was very spiritual. Like, she was like the catalyst to my spiritual journey for real. Like, she taught me things I didn't learn at home, you know. So she would come in the room, like, I had to sleep on her couch, but she'll come out of the room like, did you hear any noise last night? I'm like, no. Like, I thought she was crazy. Right. I'm like, no. She like, oh, I was fighting some demons last night. I used to be like, man. But now that I'm an adult, it's like, damn, that was really happening. But I ended up with her. She always taught me about seasons. She like, people are in your life for seasons. Some seasons are longer than others, but you know, I'll tell you when our season is up. And she told me one day, and I'm like, well, where am I gonna go?
But she's real about it, though.
Yeah, she was real, but she equipped me. I was there for the time that I needed to be there. Right. And
that was the incubator session for you to be like, okay, boom, for me. And then, you know what I'm saying, like, she gets a chance to, like, do your hair sometimes, so.
She taught me. I used to go to the shop with her, and what made me get into the profession I'm in now is, like, as far as making products. I remember, like, she was, like, 60, still doing hair. Mm-hmm. And I remember one day we was at the shop. It was nighttime, though. She's like, don't get stuck behind this chair. Like, she was in so much pain. And I remember her just turning around looking at me. She like, don't get stuck behind this chair, Jerricha. Right. Like, you want to do hair, you figure out a way that you don't got to stand behind this chair. and that stuck with me. Like, God rest her soul.
God rest her soul. That's a queen.
Yeah, and what's crazy is when after she died, her daughter was going through her belongings, and she had my picture wrapped in a prayer against generational curses, against financial curses. Like, she had I think I still got a picture of it, but her daughter sent it to me. Like, my mama was praying for you.
Wow.
Like, it still gives me goosebumps to this
I
day.
got it right there.
Yeah, like, what are the odds? Like, because we didn't talk for a while.
Right.
Like, until I was, like, 24.
Were you kind of salty, for real? Like, to, like, leave from there if you finally felt like you were starting to grow roots in the place that you really want to be?
Nah, because for some reason, I knew that it was for a season. Mm-hmm. Like, she never raised her voice at me or anything. She would just tell me, like... That
love.
Yeah, she like, I talked to the Lord last night. Like... But, like, when I was, like, 24 and I got on my spiritual journey, I remember calling her. I'm like, Auntie, why you ain't never tell me I was no Israelite? She like, I knew you was going to be the one to figure it out.
See that?
I said, well, what's that supposed to mean? She like, I knew out of the whole family, like, you was going to be the one. She like, I've been known. Mm-hmm. She like, I've been known. I'm like, well, okay, well, I figured it out, girl. Hey. You know. Right. But, like, when she did pass... I remember I made it from Dayton to Indianapolis in like 26 minutes. And it's like she held on for me. Like I stood at the side of her bed and she looked over at me and she was like, and then she took her last breath. Wow. So it was like we was locking eyes. I'm trying to say like, I did it, Auntie. And I'm like, I did it, Auntie. Like, my company had been started. I opened a salon, like everything that I said I was gonna do, and I'm just staring at her like, I'm like, I did it, Auntie. And she like, and she passed. But after I was in foster care with her, you know them one baby mamas that want to stay inside the family, so they go ahead.
Wait.
Okay.
Before you go there, I know Smed normally take this section here where like you lose like a loved one like that close to you.
Yeah.
Like do you feel like they are turning wheels for you in the physical today?
No, I feel like I don't believe in necromancy. Like, I don't believe in the worship of the dead or like dead people are doing anything for me.
Like ancestors, you don't?
I don't believe in anything like that. I believe that what she did here on earth for me was exactly what the Most High wanted her to give to me for me to be what I am today. Like, wasn't nobody telling me to not stay behind the chair for 40 years doing hair. No, nobody said that to me but her. Right. You know. So it's things that she instilled in me here that carry on long after she's out of here. Wow. You know. So.
To me, like, that's really profound.
Where do dead people go?
Why you asking me these questions, man? Where do dead people go? Oh, after death, we go to a place of rest. And if you read in Maccabees, it's a book called the Pseudepigrapha. It's books that they took out of the Bible.
What do you think?
Well, I know we go to our resting place. We see our Creator immediately when we die. We see our Creator. And then we go into a place of rest. And you kind of know once you see your Creator what's going to happen when he resurrects the dead.
And why do you think that?
Why do I think that? Mm-hmm. Because that's what the scriptures say. And I think that because I've clinically died before. So.
What happened?
Whew. Yeah, we're fast forwarding through the story. No.
Well, hold on. Well, if we'll get to that later on in the story. But that's very interesting.
Surgery or a different situation?
No, I literally could count the amount of breaths that I had left in my body, and my waitress at Papa Do's brought me back to life in front of my family. I died. I coded.
And when you died, what happened?
Man, I didn't see nothing. Like, it was darkness. I was terrified. Like, the moments before it happened, like, I had just got into it with the girl that was sitting next to me, which is like my husband's cousin's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dang, we into it. I ain't even talking to her. But I knew I had 10 breaths left. So I sat there. When I got to like my last 2 breaths, I was like, I'm about to die. And she said my body just tumbled over. And the person who was about to seat us, he was a man in nursing school. Like, he was a man in nursing school. Gave me CPR. I remember, like, the fear that I felt though before I went out, I'm like, damn, I'm about to die. Like, I didn't think, I know that in that moment, and I tell the story a lot, like, I know I was not living my life in a way that was going to get me into the kingdom. That's why I was fearful, like, of it, because I know I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. So when they brought me, I remember I wasn't even all the way back. I remember, like, I could see people standing over me, like, and what's crazy is I was about to eat unclean foods. Like, I was about to eat shark. I'm like, yes, we're about to eat alligator. I had a saddle PE. I ended up having a heart attack. DVT, I had 40 blood clots in each lung, like 15 blood clots in my leg. Like,
oh my God. But
had almost been dying the whole weekend. Thinking I'm having an asthma attack. I keep passing out. My husband like,
keep passing out?
Man, I was dying. Like, over, like, at least 4 times. Like, I was doing hair. I was doing hair for prom. I was on crutches. You had delivery kings. You had delivered chicken to my house. I kept telling my husband, like, I think I'm just having an asthma attack. But, like, I was on crutches. I had tore my ACL because I was crazy. Had tore my ACL. I was on crutches, and they had me in an immobilizer. But I was on birth control too. Not a good combination. So blood clots were literally like piling up in my body, and I didn't even know. Like, so, and I was staying on the coast, and I took a bath, and I couldn't even yell for my husband, but my bathroom door is right here, and my bedroom door, I'm on crutches, running on the crutches, and I remember falling like face down on the bed, and I'm like, damn, I'm about to die. And I couldn't even yell. I didn't have no breath in me to yell, and I tapped.
Oh, wow.
I remember, like,
before you say anything else, immediately take a point from Beanut.
Take the point.
Yes.
Because I got sense enough to put my phone on silent.
Dig in the knife.
I got this thing that sets the time for me to. I'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember I'm laying on the bed, and like, y'all, I don't know if y'all ever been in an apartment in Western Manor, but the way our room was in the living room, ain't no way. I'm just tapping on the wall, thinking if I keep tapping, it'll make him come in the room.
Right.
And he ended up coming in there. I'm like, I think I'm dying. He like, what's wrong? I'm like, I can't breathe. So I'm like, I just need an inhaler. So I'm puffing inhalers. None of that. Even on the way to Papa Do's, like, it was his birthday when you came and delivered. It was his birthday. I'm like, I want to take you out for your birthday. He like, man, fuck that. You need to go to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'll go to the hospital after we're done eating. And I'm walking up the steps. I pass out. I get in the car. I pass out. I couldn't breathe to the point where they pulled the cars up like this so that I just had to scoot over into the next car because I couldn't take 2 steps without being out of breath. So we on the highway, and I'm like, I'll never forget the look on his face. I said, babe, I think I'm going to the hospital when we leave here.
Wow.
He said, motherfucker, we almost in Cincinnati. You should have went to the hospital when we was in Dayton. He like, you hard-headed. So I passed out going up the steps to Papa Do's. I'm sitting on the bench. Everybody went to the bar. I'm sitting on the bench waiting to be seated. And she's sitting next to me. And I'm like, okay, I can do that about 10 more times. But I'm like, whatever I say, it got to make her run. We was not talking. We was into it. I just cussed her out, threatened to beat her up. Like, so we into it. I'm like, man, what can I say to make her run? Like, but I know my breaths are like, I'm running out of breath. So I'm like, I'm about to die. And she said my body just plummeted over. And I remember, like, when the paramedics came, when I came to, like, everybody's standing over me, and I blink and I'm looking, and I see my husband, he just crying. I'm like, oh, damn, something bad happened. So they put me on the ambulance. They like, heart rate 197, blood sugar 26. Like, they yelled out my vitals. I'm like, okay, that's not normal. Man, I get to the hospital. They cut my clothes off. No, before they cut my clothes off, they like, are you on any medication? And I couldn't talk. My husband, he like, she on birth control. This blue ring, she on NuvaRing. Man, they ripped my clothes off and snatched it out of me. It was like, get her the CAT scan stat. So they got me the CAT scan and they put my CAT scans up, and it's like I was polka dotted with blood clots.
Jesus Christ.
Polka dotted with blood clots. And like I was in the hospital for 29 days. I was in the hospital for 29 days. I was a ticking time bomb. Like, they couldn't give me anything to burst the clots because it was so many of them. And then they were scared to give me too many blood thinners because the blood clots were they were everywhere. Like, they could have went to my brain. They didn't know. Like, they had me at 22 doing my power of attorney, writing my will, like, telling them who my kids is going to go to. They was telling my husband I was going to die. Like,
damn.
So it's like, that experience, like, I don't understand how we don't believe in a creator, because I could be out of here, like, like that, a blood clot. Well, 56 of them. But, and then even after that, I kept getting clots. Like, they said it was a blood clot the size of a $50 that was blocking blood flow to both of my lungs. That's why I couldn't breathe. So that sat there for a month. Like,
oh, you think you was having an asthma attack?
I think I'm having an asthma attack. It's a blood clot that formed overnight. Blood clots form very fast in the body.
Jesus.
Yep. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, no. I take a point from you.
I was fearful. At that time, I was fearful of death because I was on a journey seeking the Most High, but I didn't know. Like, I thought it was through church and things like that. Like, but after that happened, man, that was like everything was like, oh, this is what it is.
There's a question for you. What would you like to have happen when you die?
What would I like to have happen when I die? I would hope that I hear, job well done, my good and faithful servant. That's what I would hope.
Yeah.
And that's how I live my life. Like, every decision I make is like, okay, if I died in 3 seconds, would I be okay with this? You know, that's pretty much how I live my life.
That's a great way to live. I like that.
Yeah.
So, like, what was the process from, you know, like you being, you know, like a teenager in trouble to eventually, you know, to going to life skills, for example? What was the process of going to life skills from when you left off in the
life skills?
Yeah, I ended up going to life skills on May to graduate.
That's gangster too.
Right.
He said going to life skills.
Yeah, I went to life skills. So this is what happened. I ended up.
You like what was it like changing your life going to Leno? Fair East Side, nigga.
I ended up.
Y'all have made it the hardest segues, and I done somehow pulled it off. And then you gonna stop the one.
Okay.
Life skills is good.
So
shit,
I ended up.
As I'm talking about the Most High, what life and purpose is, we go to life skills.
Yeah.
So that's a bar.
That is.
Yeah.
You come up with every bar, bro. You like.
So going to life skills, right?
Yeah.
I ended up in another foster home, and this was like a friend of the family, right? Friend of the family. I guess that's what you would call her. She ended up hooking me up with her brother. I'm madly in love with this light-skinned demon.
Right.
And we ended up getting into it. Like, something happened. I couldn't live in her house no more, and I ended up back in my godmom house. And I'm like, I can't live here, y'all, because her brother lived here. So, but I was a minor. Like, I ain't had nowhere else to go. So we would stay. I'll stay in a different room, or I have my boyfriend come pick me up. Like, I'd never stayed at the house or whatever. And my guardian ad litem was like, shit, if you graduate from school, I'll emancipate you.
So you like, I get up out of here.
Man, I went to life skills for 14 days from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and got my diploma. I earned the last 2 credits for me to graduate high school in 14 days.
That is legendary. But what did it feel in that moment to go from, you know what I mean, uncertainty of, oh my God, I don't know how long the process is going to be, to them giving you a deadline, you meeting that goal, accomplishing that goal, what did it feel like to finally?
It was like I had control over. I finally had some sort of control over what happened to me next. Mm-hmm. That's what it felt like. I felt like up until that point, it was always I was at the mercy of other people's decisions and other people's, whatever they chose for me to do. But it was literally in my hands, Right. So children that, like little teens that I come in contact with where, they act like they don't want to go to high school and this and that, like, okay, you don't go to high school, you're not going to be anything. Like, right. you at least got to do that, right. To operate in this system. So for me, that was like, okay, I have control over my life. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. And I slowly but surely moved my stuff into the garage. And then I moved my stuff out of the garage and we got an apartment and lived together.
Okay, so like you spoke about like a bad relationship ultimately leading to you being homeless. Can you talk about what that meant?
So, with that light-skinned demon, we very violent relationship. Like very violent, very a lot of people.
Were you ever the aggressor in the?
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because people like took advantage of like. He tried to take advantage of the fact that I was smaller than him, and he thought that he could, like, beat me. But I've always been told, like, I'm very strong. I don't know how. I can't do push-ups or anything. But, like, in a fight, I turn into something else. Right. So he would try to call himself correcting me by putting his hands on me or pinning me down. Like, he was, like, heavier than me. So, like, I remember one time he pinned me down for like an hour. I'm like, when I get up, I'm going to beat your ass, That was his signature move. So when I got up, I broke his nose and he caught my mom. He like, I ain't going to say her name. Miss Jerricha's mama. My nose is on the side of my face. Like, and I get up, I said, well, he had me pinned down for a whole hour. Like I told him that's what, was going to happen. Mm-hmm. They called the police. I didn't go to jail or nothing. But we ended up staying together, and I feel like I stayed in that relationship because, I went from foster care to him. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't, that was my home, too. Like, he tried to kill me. Like,
what they call it, trauma bonding?
Yeah, like, I was, 16, 17. He ran the car into the wall on MC Moses trying to kill me, like, and I ended up, the police, because I wasn't emancipated yet, they took me back to my godmoms, and she like, well, she got her own place, she like, wait till the police leave, you can go.
What? Wait, so she knew about this story, and she still was like, well, go ahead and go back to him then.
Absolutely. All the women that were surrounding me, no wisdom. Nobody stepped in and said, this is not good, you should not do this. It was like, get her off our hands, and deal with whatever you deal with over there. I ended up getting pregnant when I was like 17. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we did get pregnant on purpose, but I was not thinking. I shouldn't have did it. Right. But I'll praise to the Most High that, everything happens for a reason. But I ended up pregnant with my first son. And it was still very domestic violence-y. We had the brilliant idea to move. Toxic as fuck. We had the brilliant idea to move to Columbus. And we moved to Columbus with his mother, which he did not warn me looked like Prince. But we moved in there.
What? His mama looked like Prince.
Man, yes. Yep. Good. Yep. She looked like Prince because when she opened the door, I'm like, I said, wow. Okay. But while I was there, like he had a like.
Somebody warn you. Can anybody warn you?
Yes, you can. You can show me a picture or something.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we move in there, but come to find out, like the dad, like his stepdad was like had her on pills real bad. Mm-hmm. So it was very weird. Everything there was weird. But I would go get my prenatal vitamins, and there'd be pills in my prenatals, like. They was trying to get me to take, like, pills. Like, these are white pills. You think I'm stupid enough to take an orange pill? Like, it say white oval pill on the bottle. Why would I take this pill, So, I would tell him.
What was they reasoning for it?
Man, the dude was crazy. Roderick was crazy. I'll say that nigga name. That man was crazy. So, I feel like things happened to him as a kid that caused him to act the way that he do.
We're all the same way.
Yeah, so.
Well, not in the same degree as someone else, but we're all products of
the environment.
Yeah.
So I know I was like 5 months pregnant with my son. Like I said, his signature move was to like pin me down. So this time he had his like knee in my stomach trying to pin me down because I didn't want to braid his hair. I had severe morning sickness when I was pregnant with my first son. Like I lost 45 pounds when I was pregnant. I could not keep water down.
You was high risk.
Very high risk. He pinned me on the couch, put his knee in my stomach. I'm like, I feel my baby moving, like, and I told him, I said, well, when I get up, I'm gonna kill you. And I just played dead. I don't say I played dead, but I just laid there, like, kind of let my body go limp. And he got up, and I calmly got up when I could and grabbed all the knives out of the kitchen drawer and target practice. The police got called, and I ended up going to jail because he had the marks all over him. They didn't believe my story. They didn't even believe I was pregnant. I was so small because my stomach was damn near flat. I had lost so much weight. Like,
right.
They're like, you're not pregnant. That was my first time going to jail. And, boy, I went back 17 more times after that. But it was like...
What was that first experience like?
That first experience, I'm like, man, how did I end up here? Like...
Yeah.
Like I gotta do something different. Like I can't live my life like this. But I need to stay a little bit longer so I can get on my feet to get away, you know. So ironically, my mama comes and binds me out of jail.
What?
Right. So my mama binds me out, and she like, you're coming to stay with me. I said, okay, great, because I don't want to go back to that nigga.
Right.
So she takes me from Columbus. We in Huber, and then. She tells me it's light outside. It's like 7:30, 8 o'clock. She's like, all right, it's time to go to bed. I said, I'm not sleepy. She's like, oh, it's bedtimes in my house. I done lived on my own for 2 years at this point. You want me to go get on my 6, 7-year-old brother's bunk bed with my pregnant ass and go to sleep? I can't watch TV. She turns all TVs off in the house. I said, okay, I'm going to just follow these rules. I ain't got nowhere to go.
Right.
So I end up the next day, I'm like, Mama, I think I'm going to go back to my house.
Wow.
You what? I'm like, I'm going back home. I can't do this. I don't feel like this is going to work. Like, even we had a toxic relationship, you know, and, man, she pulled a gun on me and put it in the middle of my forehead.
That night?
Yeah. Yep, and her.
Because you said you wanted to go back home.
I wanted to go back home, and her boyfriend at the time. I think he was like her best friend, but they used to date on and off.
Right.
He grabbed her like, man, what are you doing? I remember I left her house in like a nightgown and my fucking slippers or something. Like I don't even know how I got back to Columbus. I ended up back in Columbus though, and while we were staying there, like I couldn't go back to his mama's house, so I stayed in a homeless shelter. A domestic violence homeless shelter up there. And like, you know, all the women there, they had substance abuse issues or they was going through their own problems, but they literally took care of me. Like, I do remember that. Like, I learned a lot in that shelter. Like, it was a lady named Miss Cynthia. She was from Detroit.
Called the Holden House?
No, not the Holden House. We were about to get to the Holden House.
Okay.
But I stayed there. My dumb ass went back to him. I ended up getting a car. Like I was kind of getting better in Columbus. And then like, shit, my mama dropped my sister off. That's when she had dropped her off to Daybreak. And now I'm pregnant, no job. Now I got my little sister. We ain't even got no phone. Like, we ain't got no food.
So you went and got her when she got dropped off at...
No, Daybreak told her that she had to come get... Nah, my mama brought her to me before she dropped her off to Daybreak. Okay. But I couldn't take care of her. Mm-hmm. Like, I couldn't even feed her. I'm like, Mama, you got to come get her. Like, they'll send me a couple dollars here and there, but I'm about to have a baby. Like,
tools and fuse. Yeah.
You know, and we're into it over here. I don't even want her seeing this, you know. So we,
So then eventually she gets dropped off at Daybreak.
Yep, eventually she gets dropped off at Daybreak. But I ended up having my son and... Like, I ended up having my son.
How'd you feel to become a mom?
I was like, how am I going to take care of you? little bit, baby. How am I gonna do this? I'm gonna do it though. We was about to get evicted. My lights was about to get cut off. I ain't had no job. I kind of skated it out the whole time I was pregnant. He was supposed to be paying the bills. He could not stop smoking weed to keep a job. Like, he just, like, one job he lost because he welded mufflers on backwards. Like, for Mercury Marauders, remember them cars?
Yeah.
He welded 42 mufflers backwards. 42. In a factory. They fired his ass on the spot. Yeah. Any job he just tried, he just quit. So I remember one day, like, after we got home from the hospital, he dropped me and Cameron off because me and Cameron, like, Cameron had he had RSV or something like that. And he took my car and disappeared. So we're at 3 o'clock in the morning sitting outside the children's hospital. I don't have a cell phone. Like, I don't have any of that. And this taxi driver that, I guess that was his route, saw us sitting out there. He like, you need to go home? I'm like, yeah, I got a car, but yeah, you know. And I'm new to Columbus. I don't even really know how to tell him to get to my house, but we ended up getting to my house. And like 4 days later, he shows up with my car and a pack of diapers. And I'm like, nigga, we're starving. He needs milk. Right. Like, I'm stressed. My milk done dried up. Like,
wow.
So, and come to find out, they didn't tell me until after I got pregnant for real that he was like a sociopath for real. So, my son not even 2 weeks old and he raped me. And I told him, like, the doctor said I couldn't do nothing because I just had a baby. He raped me. And like, I couldn't call my mama. It wasn't nobody I could call, like, because he was a very mild-mannered person. Nobody believed he was this violent or abusive. So he like, oh, I'm going to find a job. I'll be back. I'm going to the library. Okay. Library closes, I know, like, at sundown at least. It's like 8 o'clock. Like, this nigga ain't came back yet. And I go look in the closet. He took all his clothes. Like, I guess while I was asleep, he was packing his stuff and moving it into my car. I just so happened to call, like, one of his family members, and they know, like, is that nigga up there? They're like, he got white Timbs? I'm like, yeah, like, this nigga laying on the couch. I said, I'm about to get evicted. My son ain't got no milk. The light's about to get cut off. Like,
he just left you high and dry.
Left me high motherfucker dry. Left me high and dry. So I called my grandparents. I'm like, Peppa, I said, he left me. He like, all right, what you trying to do? I said, I need to get back to dating. I don't have nobody up here. I don't even know where I'm at for real. Mm-hmm. So he sent me like $60. I remember me and Cameron caught the Greyhound. And after all the stuff everybody bought me for him, his crib, my furniture, everything, I had to leave that shit. And we came here with a book bag of clothes. Who we ended up staying with? I did have somebody that let me stay with them. It was another one of his family members. She helped me a lot. Her and her husband helped me a lot. And I just tried to transition into my own place again. And I ended up going to, like, Miami University. Lived up in Hamilton, well, Cincinnati or whatever. I was doing good, going to school, and he'll, oh, let's get back together and raise Cameron and da-da-da. Like, oh, nigga, you're fucking crazy. Don't want to do that. Like, you can just co-parent, which you don't even want to do that. So I decided, like, 2 years in, I didn't want to go to college. I'm like, I don't want to do psychology. I just want to do hair. So,
which is still psychologists, right?
You know, for real. So I ended up coming back to date, and everything was cool for real. Like, I ended up living out of my car somehow. Like, I ended up living out of my car and just running the streets, not focused, like hanging around with people that didn't really give a fuck about me or my child, like, just not focused. So I used to take girls to steal. I was the taxi driver because I had the car. In this particular time, like, shit, like, man, they stole so much stuff and stuffed it in my trunk. And I didn't even know they were stuffing it in my trunk. I had like a 98 Monte Carlo. And it was actually It was a very close family member who did this to me. But she like, oh, my boyfriend's mom had a baby. She didn't even know she was pregnant. I need you to take me to get some stuff for the baby. I'm like, okay. So they get caught. I'm like, nigga, you need to go with them secret shoppers because y'all are damn near minors. And y'all, mama can come get y'all. I'm not going to jail. I'm an adult.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so they like, nah, they get in my car. And in a Monte Carlo, like the 98s, you could push that button and them seats come down in the back seat. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I'm like, shit, if we get pulled over, they got the stuff. I know they on camera. Man, they was minors.
Right.
They popped my trunk. I said,
the police?
Yep, because I told them ain't nothing in my trunk. Because I'm thinking they got their bags with them. Everything. They shoved their bags and everything in that back trunk. Like through the back seat. I'm like.
Oh, wow.
And the police so grimy, they put them two in the car together and put me in the car by myself. They didn't even separate everybody. And they like, well, they saying, oh, this is yours. So I look back, I'm like, for real, y'all? Like, y'all gonna do me like that? I lost my car. Like, I was in Greene County for like 37 days. I remember calling them. I'm like, can y'all at least get my car out of tow? Like, I got to get Cameron. Like, I was looking out for y'all. They laughed at me, hung up on me. I'm like, bet money. So, shit, homeless. But while I was in jail, I get transferred from Greene County to Montgomery County, and I met another family member in jail, a cousin, and she like, my mama left us a house. You can come stay with us. I'm like, okay. I got a kid. You okay with that? Like, I know I can get an apartment. Just give me a couple months. I'll help or whatever. She's like, yeah. So we lived there for a couple weeks, and they like, don't even get your apartment. Like, you can just help pay utilities here, and y'all can get on y'all speed. I'm like, well, that sounds like a good deal.
Right.
But the more I was there, I'm like, this is not a good idea. I need to get my own place. So they're like, we need you to put the utilities in your name, and this and that. I'm like, I can't do that because I'm trying to get my own place. Right. Boy, I came home. My shit was on the roof. I said, damn.
What? I
said, why I put my clothes on the roof? So I ended up staying, but I'm like.
You end up staying, but so you got to go get your stuff off the roof.
I mean, they was polite about it. It was reachable. But it was like, you know how the windows, they got the roof on the outside? Okay. So, I don't know. We got into it a couple weeks later. I just refused to do the utility thing because if y'all can't keep y'all's utilities on, y'all really gonna fuck up my name.
Right.
I remember me and Cameron came home. Well, we came back to the house.
So while y'all was there, it wasn't no utilities?
Man, I was taking cold showers. They didn't have no vectoring. We had electricity, but it wasn't no hot water.
Yeah, the boil water.
Nah. Like, we took cold showers. Me and my son took cold showers every day.
Man.
Yeah, there was no tubs. Like, it was showers. Like, the way the house was built, it was just a house that had showers or whatever. So I think one of the bedrooms, like the master bedroom, had a tub, but that wasn't where I went to. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Man, one night we come home, me and Cameron, and I smell piss as soon as I walk in the door. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like one of them
Strongs, man.
Yeah, but it's like, it wasn't in the front door of the house. You know them patios be on the front of the house. Mm-hmm. You walk through that door, and then you walk through the front door.
Yeah.
So I smell piss. I'm like, and I look down, and I see my cover. I'm like, nah. Man, I look, they done put all our shit outside on that little patio thing and pissed all over it.
Women?
It smelled like nigga piss. I don't know whose piss it was, but somebody pissed on my stuff. Smelled like beer. You know how like crackheads be smoking, drinking, they smell like that. Yeah, like ammonia. It was so strong. I'm like, shit. I got my son.
Man, that is a viral clip,
I'm like, it ain't shit I can do. I end up like picking out some outfits, and I put it in this little bag, and I went
peed on outfits.
We ain't had shit. I ain't had nothing. What was I gonna do? That was like the last of what I did have. Like, what was I gonna do? Leave it? What was we gonna do?
Should be pissed off.
So we stayed downtown at St. Vincent. I stayed downtown at St. Vincent one night, and sleeping on that floor, I'm like, this ain't it. I gotta ask somebody if I can live with it.
I would have been pissed.
Huh?
I would have been pissed.
It wasn't shit I could do. Yeah. Like, I was pregnant at the time. Like, it wasn't. The way I wanted to react, it wasn't going to be a good out. Yeah. It was not going to be in my child's best interest.
Yeah. Right.
So,
he was trying to make a joke because stuff was peed on.
Yeah, like that was wild.
I get that stuff from Beanut.
But what's crazy is like the people that did that, their lives are not
exactly
good right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
Yeah, so we ended up.
From that,
I asked the lady I stayed with when I first came back to Dayton. I tried to go to her, but she had opened up a daycare. She like, you got to go through a background check and everything. You can't just come.
Damn.
She couldn't do it. So, man, I called his daddy. I'm like, hey, like, if he can come stay with you, I'll sleep in the shelter. But, like, let him sleep at y'all's house. Like, he was staying with his parents. He's like, all right. Well, excuse me. I guess, like, he wanted to go kick it or whatever. But I'm like, I got to be at the shelter by a certain time or I don't get no bed. So, like, he chased my ass down. He found me. Because I was on the bus. Like, I'm walking up Main Street. And he shoved my son in my chest or whatever. And whooped my ass on Main and Connect. Like, heel to head, whooped my ass. I'm like, I just covered my son up.
He beat you up because...
He beat me up because, he couldn't get a hold of me. But I was willing to, like, have everybody mad at me to make sure my son had somewhere to stay. Like, I was okay with being on the streets and being homeless. I didn't want that for my child. So, he kicked my ass.
But I'm confused because, like, you called him to say, you know what I'm saying, like, keep the baby just so he ain't go to the shelter.
They don't care about that. People don't care about their kids. He didn't care. Like, he had something to do. So, and, the parents played a part in that, too. The parents he was staying with, like, I guess they thought I was playing, but we was legit homeless. So, I remember I got beat up. I went back to the girl house. This is his cousin. I'm like, that nigga just beat me up. She like pulling off. She like, ain't no blood on you. I'm like, cause I was covering my face and I was holding my baby. Like, Cameron's the side of his head was scraped.
What?
Like, cause when I fell, like he kicked my ass. So I ended up walking from like Bruce Avenue on Main to like about from Bruce to Rugby, okay, to my godmama house. My sister was staying with her, and I'm like, hey, I said, I gotta call the police. I'm like, I just got beat up, like my ribs is hurting, like I'm gonna press charges this time. So then police came out, and they ended up taking me to the YWCA. They filed a children's services report because my son was harmed. Like, that was child endangerment on him. So he ended up locked up. He got locked up that time. Like, that was one time I stood my ground, like, nah, you going to jail. So, after that, that's when I ended up, I'm in the homeless shelter or whatever.
How old is your son at this time?
My son is one. Going through bullshit.
Trauma.
Yeah, but I give him the world now. All my kids, but that was my rider. So we stayed in the shelter for like from October to December, and it was a community shower. Like, everybody went to a room and showered, but I had a Rubbermaid bin, and I filled the Rubbermaid bin up with water in their little mop closet, and I drag it to my room and I bathe my son in the tub. But, like, this particular night when I laid him down, like, I could see his hip bones. I'm like, bruh, like, you did not give me this child for me to, like, not take care of him. Like, wow. So I'm bathing him, and I'm holding back tears while I'm bathing him, like, I got to do better for you. I remember just, like, staring at him, like, I got to do better for you. Like, so I put him to bed, and I remember I literally, like, fell on my face and prayed to the Most High. I'm like, Father, I'm like, if you get us out of this, like, I'll serve you for the rest of my life. So, like, after I said that prayer, little things, like, I ended up getting, like, an income tax check. I bought a car. They helped me get an apartment. It was at the Holden House. Horrible living conditions, but it was mine. So, we got a little bit, a one-bedroom apartment, and the apartment is, like, the size of this room. Right. Like, the living room, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. Yeah, all together. Like, 300 square feet. Like... So, like, you walking in my front door, walking past my stove.
Like a half of an efficiency.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, during this time, like, shit,
that's downtown.
That's downtown, like, across from Wilkinson. It's on 5th Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. bed bug infested, roach infested. I had never seen a bed bug or roach in my life. Like, but I remember this older man, I wonder if he's still living, but this older man came across the hall to my apartment. He gave me this stuff called malathion. It's a plant thing. They use it for plants, but he like, I sprayed my apartment with this and it keeps the bed bugs away. So he like, but you gotta spray it, you gotta leave. So I remember spraying it, and me and Cameron left for the day. I still got ate up by bed bugs. It's still happening. But it wasn't as bad.
But he gave you that, you know what, maybe, you feel me, like, try it out.
Yep. So we,
it was his spiritual thing he did, like.
During that time, you know, I ended up meeting my husband, and I was so embarrassed because of the position I was in. Like, I was pregnant. I was about to go through an open adoption. I'm like, you don't want to talk to me. Life is kicking my ass right now. Like, you don't want nothing to do with me. And I remember we just sat like and talked, and my sister is who introduced me to him. He was a rapper at the time, and she brought me his rap poster. I'm like, that nigga is ugly. Like, hell nah. Like, I had never dated anybody dark skin or nothing like that. I'm like, look at his knuckles. Like, no. Like, she like, he's a nice guy. I'm like, hell nah. Like, but he ended up being cool or whatever. And he like, why are you doing like this? He like, I'm like, shit. I'm like, I don't believe in abortion. I said, I can't take care of another kid right now, and life is like fucked up. I can't let another child go through this. So he like, I can't do nothing but respect that. Like, and he like, well, I help you take care, you know, of the child. I said, nigga, I can't bank on you. Like, you believe it. I gotta make sure I can take care of these children. Mm-hmm. So the lady who adopted my son, she her husband left her because she couldn't have children. She had a total hysterectomy. She did not have a womb, and he left her because she could not get pregnant, but it was because of him. So there were, like, I kept going to premature labor because I didn't get my ass kicked while I was pregnant. This stuff didn't happen. So the family that was supposed to adopt him, they're like, we don't want no baby, they got no problems. Like, I'm like, okay, like, and I prayed, and I'm like, Father, like, is this supposed to be who I choose? Like, 'cause she was single, she was not in a relationship, like, and I wanted my child to grow up with two parents, and I'm like, she showed up when I was in labor, and I'm like, I think it's you. And she like, me? I'm like, I think you supposed to be the mother, like, that takes care of my child or whatever. And she like, okay, like, and she helped me and my son. She supported me through my pregnancy. Like, I was still with, like, dating my husband or whatever, but, like, nobody could change, like, that decision that I was making. I knew that it was what was best for me and my children. So, after that ended up happening, like, me and my husband got serious. I told him when I met him, I said, nigga, if you're not trying to marry me, leave me alone. Like, I've been a baby mama, and I had only been a 1 year baby mama, but I knew I didn't want to do that no more. Right. So I'm like, if you don't want to get married, like, you need to just go away from me. Like, I'm trying to get my life together. I want to open a business. I'm going to be a salon owner. This and that. Like, and he like, oh, for real? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be the next Madam C.J. Walker. Mm-hmm. He like, okay. You know, he was a rapper. I'm like, but if you want to be with me, you can't be in the streets. Ain't no selling drugs. Like, you need to go to school to get a trade. Like, nah, you know. He ended up going to school or whatever. He ended up going to school, got a job. I was able to go to hair school. Like, he supported me all through hair school. Okay. Didn't have to worry about paying a bill or nothing. And it took me 4 years to graduate hair school, actually. I should actually have a master's degree in cosmetology. But, yeah. That's leading up to probably, like, I was 21. We got married. We've been married for 11 years.
Congratulations.
Yep.
I mean,
Together
like,
for 12.
That is, like, crazy.
Very.
Let us take a quick break real quick.
Okay.
Every time I come in the press room, you're in the press room. Working on our Stars Hottronic heat press. Using all the vinyl. Making all the picture tees. I like vinyl.
I'm about to just load these boxes up. I'm out your way.
Man, you gotta be a crazy little brother to get fired on your day off. What you get caught stealing boxes for?
Man, I didn't get caught stealing no boxes. He said he caught me though.
You get our rent paid.
Why don't you go in there and ask the girls real fast to see if they help us pay our rent?
That don't sound like a bad plan at all.
What's up, Pops?
What's up, Smokey?
I'm trying to set up a meeting with the girls, man.
Okay.
Y'all wanna help me and Craig pay our rent?
Craig still owe me money from the last time he got me. He gotta learn a lesson. He shouldn't be stealing.
Go ask him to tell that girl from last night to give him some money.
What they say? They said it's slow for real. I'm about to just ask boss when we get our job that night. Of course you can.
Yeah!
I wanted to announce today that we do have a brand new film studio and video studio in photography. So if you want to have a photo, anything like that, we're having a special 30-minute shoot. As many pictures as you take, we just email them all to you. You don't have to worry about prints. You get your pictures back before you leave. And so everything that you've always imagined that a photo shoot or that video production should be, we're bringing it to you. Every time I come in the press room, you in the press room. Working on our Stars Hottronic heat press. Using all the vinyl. Making all the picture tees. I like vinyl.
I'm about to just load these boxes up. I'm out your way.
Man, you gotta be a crazy little brother to get fired on your day off. What you get caught stealing boxes for?
Man, I didn't get caught stealing no boxes. He said he caught me though.
You get our rent paid.
Why don't you go in there and ask the girls real fast to see if they help us pay our rent?
That don't sound like a bad plan at all.
What's up, Pops?
What's up, Smokey?
I'm trying to set up a meeting with the girls, man.
Okay.
Y'all wanna help me and Craig pay our rent?
Craig still owe me money from the last time he got me. He gotta learn a lesson. He shouldn't be stealing.
Go ask him to tell that girl from last night to give him some money.
What they say? They said it's slow for real. I'm about to just ask boss when we get our job that night. Of course you can.
Yeah!
We back. Boy Peanut, aka Dash Resource. We're getting back into the story. So why were we left off at? I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
Hit your mic, Peanut. And wait a minute, let's take one more break real quick. Hold on, we coming right back. Hold on. Every time I come in the press room, you in the press room. Working on our Stars Hottronic heat press. Using all the vinyl. Making all the picture tees. I like vinyl.
I'm about to just load these boxes up. I'm out your way.
Man, you gotta be a crazy little brother to get fired on your day off. What you get caught stealing boxes for?
Man, I didn't get caught stealing no boxes. He said he caught me though.
You get our rent paid.
Why don't you go in there and ask the girls real fast to see if they help us pay our rent?
That don't sound like a bad plan at all.
What's up, Pops?
What's up, Smokey?
I'm trying to set up a meeting with the girls, man.
Okay.
Y'all wanna help me and Craig pay our rent?
Craig still owe me money from the last time he got me. He gotta learn a lesson. He shouldn't be stealing.
Go ask him to tell that girl from last night to give him some money.
What they say? They said it's slow for real. I'm about to just ask boss when we get our job that night. Of course you can.
Yeah!
Real quick. What's up, hey you guys, man. Thank y'all for just sticking with us through our little break. The Legendary People Podcast. Cheeks for breakfast, Agnes All Natural Grill for lunch. If you're ever injured, call attorney Michael Wright, 937-222-7477. Make the right choice. TheShopArea.com is like the baby Amazon. Delivery is always free from the store to your door in 4 business days. That's TheShopArea.com. Peanut, hit your mic when you want to get lit a little bit. Get you some good old Kiara wine. Kiara wine. You can get it from my bro Antoine Cunningham on Facebook. T-shirt Kings, go for your mouth. Camera Kings and sell stocks, not dope. Peanut, your mic is still over there. Trip.
And
Big tripping. Big tripping.
The light is on in the back.
got a little band in.
Tap your mic. Tap your mic, Peanut. Let me see. Tap it. Like do this. Tap. Yeah. That's yours. It's messed up.
Yeah. Good?
No way, man. Oh, now it is. I just fixed it.
Yo.
But now it's not.
Yo. Man, take a point from Smed. I don't know what he got.
I just fixed it. There. I fixed his mic from back here.
Hey, yo, pause.
It's the technology.
Pause. You fixing my mic. You ain't fixing my mic nowhere.
By the way, if anybody ever needs, some engineering or something.
Man, take that point away, man.
Holler at your boy.
So, where we left off in the story, this is where you polish up your husband. You know what I'm saying? Well, like soon to be. Mm-hmm. Because you made a stand saying, hey, you feel me? I'm not going to be with no thug. I'm not going to be with a rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't going to be in the streets. So, now, what happens next in the story?
We get pregnant.
So, this is now your third time being pregnant? Or is it second? Okay, third.
So, we get pregnant with our first child together. And we get pregnant with our first child together. And everything cool. This is first son, you know. I'm in hair school at the time. I did try to work at Delphi for 5 days.
For 5 days.
I worked at. I always tell people I've never really worked a job before. Mm-hmm. Like it's very small, like amounts of time I work at a job. So I worked at Delphi for 5 days, and I remember the plant supervisor. His name was Clayton. I was trying to tell them how to better efficiently run Delphi because I was making radiators, and I'm like, we can produce a lot more if we do the line like this. And I remember him with a straight face. He said, "Why are you here?"
Right.
I said, "I need a job." He said, "This isn't the place for you."
Yeah.
So I ended up quitting. Got in hair school. Hair school. I was in hair school for 4 years. I kept getting pregnant. He kept getting me pregnant.
Wow.
Like I got pregnant in 2011, 12, and 13. So the entire
baby. Boom, 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 boom.
Woo, boy. I finally graduated.
What's that cartoon character that's always pregnant? Was that our Family Guy? The one that's always pregnant?
Yes, Joe's wife.
Yeah,
boy. And he used to tell people like, I went all these years of only having one kid. Mm-hmm. I get with her, had 3 back to back. Like, you know what's going on? Know what the fuck's going on? I just playing. But so I remember graduating, hair school. I worked in other people's shops.
What were some of the experiences that like you didn't like about working inside somebody else's shop?
Very catty, very backbitey, very not good. Some experiences was good. Like the first shop I worked in, she taught me a lot about the hair game. The second shop I worked in, they was doing insurance fraud. They just wanted. I remember coming to work one day and it was vandalized. Like everything broke. I'm like, who even knew anything was in here?
What the heck?
Yeah, crazy stuff. Another one, like I was a Sabbath keeper. I started keeping the Sabbath, and I told her before I got to her shop, like, hey, you okay with me not working Saturdays and working Sundays? She's like, yeah, it's great.
Let's try that.
Shit. After about 2 months, she figured out I wasn't playing. I'm paying $130 a week in booth rent. Mm-hmm. I'm like, the math ain't mathing. I could open my own shop for the price that I'm paying here, and that's what I did. Like, open my own shop. I took out title loans. I took out whatever I could to get my own shop open.
My hook or crook.
But hey, and I did that shit. Been a salon owner for 2016, 6 years now.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yep.
Congratulations. That's another accomplishment.
Thank you. Yep. So, yeah, that's my experience working at other people's salons. And I try not to give the people that work in my salon that experience because I know how it be.
Right. So, walk us through when you started the Arcani coil care.
Okay. So, of course, like, during the time that I'm pregnant and working in these salons, like, I'm passing out. Like, I'm still having health issues, And I'm like, man, I remember telling my husband, I'm like, man, I gotta figure out a way to get this money by tomorrow. I'm just playing. I ain't saying. I was like, I gotta figure out how to make money and not like stand behind this chair or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he like, he was working third shift at the time, and I was praying. Like, I don't pray like how people like, like I sit and I talk to the Most High,
you feel me? I talk to him.
And I told him, like, Father, I'm like, you gotta make something shake, like, And I just started hearing like conditioner, like shampoo. I'm like, okay. So I Google like how to make conditioner. I Googled how to make shampoo, and I'm like, okay.
Right.
Like, okay, this is what you... I remember my husband came home that night, well, that morning, I'm like, I'm about to start a hair product company.
But he was like,
okay. You know, okay. Period. You know. And I started making... I think I started off with 10 of each product. I did shampoo, conditioner, growth oil, and hair butter. And wasn't nobody fucking with me for real. Like, my clients bought it because they support me. But, like, I would try to promote it on social media, and it get, like, the memories still pop up. It get, like, 2-3 likes or 12 likes. I'm like, they don't think I'm going to, you know, make it. I don't know. So, I remember, like, I'm like, okay, what's a product that I can make that's, like, everybody uses it? Because I realize as a stylist, like, my clients don't wash their hair. It's me that does it. So I'm like, what do everybody use? I'm like,
edges and stuff.
Edge control. Everybody uses edge control. Even if you leave the hair salon, you'll touch your edges up. So I'm like, shit, I'm about to figure out how to make that. Man, crack.
There you go.
I made some crack. Yeah, I started selling the crack.
Right.
But it was not in Dayton. Dayton did not fuck with me. Like, they never have. I never cared, but they never have.
Right.
I remember I had a Buick Century. I filled, her name was Champagne. I filled Champagne's trunk up with edge control and my beard products and everything, and drove around to all the salons in Dayton. And I'm like, you want to buy my edge control? Like, it's really good. I'll give you a free sample, and you just tell me how it is. And everybody like, who is she? Only one person took the product, and that was the guy that owns Impressions right here on 7th Dollar. I'll never forget him. He the only, like, barbershop that was like, okay, I'll take a chance. Like, people loved it. But I ended up, what I ended up doing, one of my friends at the time, I was doing her daughter's hair, and I'm putting the edge control on her hair. And I remember I did something like this, and her hair didn't move. I was like, I said, come here and record this. So she recorded it, and I'm like, rubbing my finger across. I said, this shit not moving. Like, so I'm looking at the video. I'm like, Rubchallenge.
Rubchallenge.
I'm like, Rubchallenge. So every time I posted that video,
viral.
Man, the first time I posted it organically on my page, like with my Dayton followers, didn't make no noise. Like, some people started coming to buy it from the shop. Like, I probably got 15, 20 sales, but it wasn't until I posted in a natural hair group. That's why I tell everybody that if you're a business owner, you need to be a part of the groups that are in your market.
Absolutely.
So I remember posting it, and I posted it like I normally post on my page, but it's like bing, 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 bing. I'm like, I said, yours. I said, they buying this stuff off my website. I ain't even had the inventory. They was buying it. I'm like,
oh, snap.
Yeah, I didn't expect this to happen. So I ended up, it took off. That was the first time I went viral. I think that video got like 250,000 views. Yeah. That was in 2017. So organically, like 2018, I always posted organically to my page. I never ran a paid ad until June of 2019. All of the revenue I made was organic.
Right.
So,
do you wish that you would have did it sooner?
No. Because that helps me to pivot now. Like right now, yeah, like Facebook right now, ads ain't hitting like they was in 2019
at all.
But I have that organic marketing experience, like, so it's not really. I know how to make some money organically, you know.
Plus, I'm saying, like, you got the interaction of the group, so like people are already like familiar with you. Plus, it'll be people that have already bought it in the group. So it's like, okay, it's trustworthy rather than all this scam stuff. And I ran into a big old wall when I started this one website that I'm not going to even mention it. Okay. I still own rights to it. I can still sell it. But at the end of the day, it was like people would just be asking me 101 questions about a daggone item that I know I'm really going to send to you. Like, you know what I mean? It become like very, very cumbersome. But to have those groups, you know what I mean? It's a real good ecosystem to like coexisting, but it does have its drawbacks.
It does.
Such as some turbulent times inside the Facebook.
The segue.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, let's get into some of that.
Let's get into it. Okay. So, again, dating never really, my clients supported me, but dating as a whole never really supported me until the rest of the world started buying my stuff.
It's always like that. Listen, dating gonna love you once everybody else love you.
Yeah. So,
last to love you.
I always ran into like people claiming to know me or they had beef with me, and I'm like, I don't even fucking know y'all. Like, who are you? Yeah. Like, so I've always been one also to give out business advice. Like, so with this situation on Facebook that you then segued into, the only time that I remember this young lady was like back in like 2016. We was in like the dating hair arena, and like she was selling these shea butters. And people was trying to clown her because it was like the shea butter you can get from the hair store.
Oh, it's like the yellow one, not the grayish looking one.
So I inboxed her. I said, "Hey, like if you get your own label and put it on there, you kind of get rid of all the riffraff that's going on. Like that's the only interaction we've ever had. Okay.
And it was you trying to give her some game.
That's the only interaction we had. The second interaction was." Like somebody was sharing her stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm a support, where can I order it from? And that was an interaction we had. Other than that, I never had an interaction with her.
So you didn't buy from her?
Huh?
So like you didn't buy some of her shea
I
butter?
hadn't yet.
Okay.
I hadn't yet. Like I didn't never buy that shea butter because I knew that it was like that African shea butter that everybody can get. I didn't buy that. It wasn't rare enough. But like
but you wanted to support her, and you were just showing your support.
And this was years later. It's such a gap in between these.
How many years passed between that time and this time?
Man, 2019, 2015, 5 years.
Okay.
Like, never bumped shoulders, never talked on the phone, don't even know your name, Right. So, everybody in dating for real, like they got their opinion about me, but it's a game of telephone. Somebody then maybe crossed me, and I done dealt with them accordingly, and they get their crew to not like me. That crew get their crew to not like me. They like
I'm in a battle rap group, and it sounds very, very similar to inside a battle rap group. Like it'll be like a faction of people going against another faction of people because we all cool and we all inside of a group chat.
Let's hate your
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like whatever you named your group chat, you feel me? Like that shot clear.
Bird brains. So I'm on social media. People a couple years ago used to inbox me if somebody made a post about me or somebody mentioned my name, and it was like people took they liked like
the drama associated with your name.
The drama. Like don't even know that like fighting was my favorite pastime. Like I don't like the social media stuff was not. I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to do that. So like one particular post got sent to me, and it was like 250 some comments on the post.
What was the tone of the conversation?
Man, the post was like, oh, it's this girl that's in the city that everybody thinks is just so nice and righteous, but she tried to destroy my business years ago, and this and that. Everybody like, you talking about Jerricha? You talking about Jerricha? I'm like, I don't even know this girl.
Right.
I don't even know her. But I didn't respond. I didn't comment on that status. I didn't make a post in response to her. I messaged her. I said, hey, who are you? Like, what did I do to you? I didn't get no response from that message. So everybody going in, and then like around the same time, like somebody made a fake page saying that they fucked my husband, and I'm like, my husband is terrified. Like, Jerricha, I swear to God.
Oh my God.
Like, cause he's not even he don't even be on social media. So,
but when you in them groups, they play them funny games.
Yes. And I didn't even. Somebody added me to that group, and I guess whoever made the fake page, like they saw my name at it, and they made like a poem, something like I'm fucking crownme coil care's husband or something like that. I'm like, okay, you fucking weirdo. Like, so everybody having a field day because this is virtual and this is Facebook, and you can't get the shit slapped out of you on Facebook.
Right.
So, I'm arguing with everybody, and I remember talking to my friends. I'm like, y'all, they're like, do you even know these people? I said, I don't know none of them. Like, and then some of the people I thought I was cool with, they joining in on it. And I'm like,
wow.
Okay. Like, so when this is what happened. I'm at lunch, minding my business, and I see the post is still damn near going viral. I'm like, now if I say something to her, everybody gonna flip this on me.
Right. Because you've seen it happen before with somebody else.
It always happens.
Yeah.
So I just venture off on Facebook and I look on the page and I see that, you know, the person shared and said like, yeah, I made such amount of money and this and that. So I go to the Ohio Business Central website and I type in the business name and it's unclaimed. And argue on Facebook, make you spend some money. I'm gonna make you spend some money. And I had $102 on my Cash App card, and I used my Cash App card to purchase the name. And
So are you still the official owner of this LLC?
Because I said that I would give it. I said that I would.
That's probably the most legendary clapback I've ever heard in my life.
The entire city of Dayton still hates me to this day because of it. But
why do they hate you because of it?
They feel like I'm a bully, but I always tell them, like, people that bring it up to me now, they kind of see why I did what I did. I'm like, when nobody's saying nothing, when everybody was dragging my name through the mud and talking about me and carrying on, but I do this.
Right.
And you guys are in a tussy, but nobody's going to whoop my ass about it. So,
and then you say something about it was the most amount of LLCs purchasing.
Man, first off, I had it. I had possession of it for like a month before anybody found out. And yeah, I had it for a month.
So you that petty of, I'm not going to even tell you about this.
No.
Okay.
So I only told 3 people. So I knew how I got out because I know only 3 people knew.
I know you know the term, right? The only way 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. You know?
Yeah, now I know the term.
You get it?
But it got leaked, and I didn't even know it got leaked. I just got on Facebook, and my notification was going crazy, and they're like, "Oh my God, 50 Cent!" I'm like, I said. So people inbox me like, Jerricha, what did you do? I said, I don't know what y'all talk about. I ain't do nothing. And I'm like, it was me. That was a decision that I made. Like, I knew it was going to be, like,
do you think that other people will be mad about it rather than just the person who you intended to show? Like, yo, like it was a chess move on them, or was it to everybody? Like, all of y'all that was on there talking, like, yeah, like.
No, it was a chess move to that specific person, but everybody got in the business and didn't even know, like, what was happening, why I made that decision. Like, it was like, it seemed like it came out of nowhere, but I'm like, no, y'all just stop talking y'all shit. And I didn't respond in the way that y'all wanted me to respond. What y'all wanted me to do was sit on Facebook and argue with you and go back and forth, but I chose a different route. So that night, man, people were supposed to screenshots, like the LLC website was crashed because so many people, the traffic was so high, people were buying their LLCs. I'm like, damn, none of y'all had LLCs? It was no in between with that situation. You either was like, that was some boss ass shit, or you was like, that was fucked up. Me, I didn't care. I did that for me. Like,
because she went and bought, like, for instance, like if you bought Dash Resource LLC, can somebody go buy Dash Resource L.L.C.
Can you?
Yes.
You
because whenever I felt about EIN and all that type of stuff, you have to put in exactly where it's typed. And you get a preference over LLC. I mean,
so
no matter.
these people sell. Don't say that, Jerricha. Let me back that up. These people don't really know about business, so they felt like that was the end of the world.
Right.
And I'm like, if I get a public apology, I've paid for your LLC and you can have it.
Right.
But you need to admit that I didn't do nothing to you.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And whatever happened prior, whatever, it didn't allow that to happen. So, like,
does that offer still stand? If she called in on the show one day or said in the DM said, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Man, I'll transfer that shit into her name, but it's
that's
like
some real shit.
I didn't do nothing. It was a statement that I was making. I wasn't doing nothing with that. Like, It was like, you have to be careful. You don't never know who you messing with. Like,
oh God.
Don't. You never know. Like, if you're gonna be the example, I don't want to be made an example.
Such as Chris Rock.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's why I was saying that was
All
my
right,
stance. Like you
I get your
don't,
point.
you don't know. So
Yeah.
everybody on the outside is now giving their opinion, but you don't know how that made Will feel. You don't know his history with Chris. You don't know if you don't know those details, those variables. So who are you to judge on that situation? Like you want it to be you next?
Right.
Like shut up.
That goes to all you out there.
Just shut up. But I've always I always, even when it all blew up and everybody was like, Jerricha, think this through. I'm like, y'all, she can have it, but she needs to admit that I didn't do nothing to her.
Right.
You know, and that's like the narrative. That's the story of my life. Like people do things to me behind the scenes, and my reaction or the repercussion that they suffer from me is
Right.
on blast. Like, but it was cool. Everybody was kiki ha 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 when everybody Jerricha fuck that bitch da. Like fuck me.
Right.
Give my Cash App card. I bought it while eating a cod fish sandwich and some French fries at the dating club.
That's a flex. So let's talk about the Orkani National Hair Studio.
Okay, the Orkani Natural Hair Studio, my salon.
Yes.
What about it?
So, you know what I'm saying? Like earlier in the interview, we spoke about how, other climates of when you were working in different shops and you did a different type of feeling there. Is that partially because of the past or also like, just like how you want things to be ran?
Both. So for me, like in my salon, they use my products. Like the shampoo, conditioner that we use is from Orkani. They use my lock gel, my edge control. Like if you come get your hair done at Orkani Cool Care and Orkani hair products are touching your head, I want it to be like a flagship type of situation.
Vegan beard facial.
I don't do esthetician services anymore, but I am looking to hire an esthetician. If you guys
There you go.
aren't scared, so no, but for real, because people think
scared.
people be on edge. Like as long as you don't,
That's a bar on edge control.
yeah. See, don't give me the rapping.
Oh.
So I'm
What?
just playing. If you don't do nothing to me, I'm not gonna do nothing to you.
Right.
Anything I do is reactionary. I don't never go and pick nothing with nobody. It's always reactionary. So, with my salon, I wanted it to be a natural hair studio. Like everybody had hair salons in the city, but nobody really focused on natural hair. It would be people that would go to other salons and come to me like, "Can you fix my hair?" Like, why you let them fry your hair? Like. Teaching people how to take care of the hair that naturally grows out of their head. Like that was my focus with Orkani in my salon. And just creating a vibe. Like people, they crack up when they come in there. Like they love being there. Like my team, I've had the same people.
Who are some of those people? Just give them some shout out.
Shout out to Candace.
There you go.
Shout out to Kendra, Magic Palms. Shout out to Leah. Leah Hair Gallery, Tavy Green, Anissa Lofton, Braider. Who else is in there? Dang, that sucks. Kendra, Octavia, Kendra, Leah, Candace, and me.
Shout out to you.
But we've been. Candace been with me for 6 years. Tavy been with me for 6 years. Leah had left and opened up her own suite and came back. Like,
that's hard.
So that lets me know, like, these relationships that I'm building, like, I ain't out here doing people dirty. Like,
Right.
you know. So, yeah.
So, walk us through your decision to build, in an abandoned warehouse rather than choosing some creme de la creme location out in the suburbs somewhere.
So, I used to live in Inglewood, and the way I would get to my salon is like the back way from Inglewood up Denlinger, and I go down Salem, and every single day I roll past that warehouse. I'm like, that's gonna be my warehouse every single day. Like, so I was doing it out of my house, and then the sewage backed up from Trotwood, destroyed all my inventory, everything in my basement, like. And we ended up, they let us move into a different house. We was renting at the time. So, but the house we was in, it didn't have no basement or nothing. I had nowhere to make products. So then I started trying to make products out of my salon. Then I got the little small warehouse on Salem when I was doing, like over there by Serenity Salon. I was over there. We outgrew that so fast. And I'm like, let me call this number. And I called, and they like, we'll sell it to you. I'm like, shit, all right. It was a lot of work. A whole lot of money was put into that building. And I chose that building because, like, so many times black people get money and they leave. And it's like, you could do it here. Right. You know, I could have went to West Carrollton, Miamisburg, and got a updated warehouse and probably leased a warehouse for real. You know, but like a turnkey. But my grandparents used to shop at Frank's Nursery. Like, school buses drive past Frank's Nursery. Like, it was a statement. Like, y'all tried to run me up out of here, and now all the people who rent their spaces for their businesses, I'm about to purchase a 20,000 square foot warehouse right in the middle of the hood that you're gonna have to drive past every single day with your hating ass. And damn, she's still there. Damn, it's still open. Damn, she's still winning. Damn, yep. So, and I was very intentional hiring people that look like me, hiring people that believed in our County Coil Care. So I'm not a conventional employer. Like, there's no, I'm gonna say it. There's really no like point system with me. There's no.
It's a fill or not.
It's like you come to work, you do your job. You're not no slave. You gotta get your kids from school, go get them. Your kids' daycare clothes, you can bring them with you. Yeah. Like, it's a community that I'm trying to build, you know, with them. Hard. And I have, like, they like my family, like, and without them, you know, I feel like this social media generation, right? Everybody wants this glitz, glammy, like, oh, I'm a boss, and I'm like, you're nothing without the people that like help you build this. So don't get so cocky, right? You know.
So speaking of some of the people that support you, I mean, you guys supporting you from Dayton to Zambia, from Chicago to the Caribbeans, right? So like, what is a typical like day for you start like? It's something Smed normally asks.
Okay, so I have 5 children. 6 o'clock in the morning, everybody's up. We got to get everybody off to school. My husband works with me, so he normally drops my boys off at the bus stop because we now stay in like a Caucasian neighborhood. You can't trust anybody, so he drops them off to the bus stop. He heads to the warehouse. I drop my daughter off at daycare. Because we are girls, we need more time to get ready.
Yeah, understandable.
So he'll head to the warehouse. I'll head, you know, drop her off. I'll go to the warehouse, or I do hair. They kick me out of the warehouse once a quarter. Like, and we don't need you here. We don't need your help. Like, okay. So every now and then I do hair because I be bored. Like, I don't got nothing else to do. So I do hair, make content, answer emails, doing phone calls, like just. Shit, running a business is very ghetto. It's very stressful. Like, what people don't tell you, like, everybody like be like, oh my god, I wish I had $1 million company. No, the fuck you don't. Like, there's a sweet spot with this making money thing. Like, making millions, you spend a lot of money because you have to scale, or you either gonna stay
small. Yeah,
like you have to make that choice. And I don't know if I want to be that much bigger. Right. Like, I think about that often.
Cause all the upfront, and it's like this gotta move.
Boy, this shit so motherfucking ghetto. But I'm doing it. You know, I don't have no college degree. I don't have no rich auntie. I don't got. It's me. Like, it's me.
Well, you do got some really good support. When you had to get that surgery done after you with the 1 hour surgery that turned into a 5 hour surgery, and you had your one friend help you out, Vanity.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not my friend.
Oh, what was that?
I mean, she was a friend.
What happened though? Like, so like y'all fell out. I swear I don't know.
No, we no longer talk. We are no longer friends.
I'm sorry about that. Never mind. We can move on. I didn't know.
Yeah, I think I had. That's when I got into the car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know.
Okay, but we're gonna move forward.
Thank you.
So speaking of like the car accident, for your anniversary for your husband, you went and got him a car, SUV.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for our anniversary, it was our 10-year anniversary, and like I know that accident impacted him a lot because he was the driver, and like his whole family got injured. Like his car got totaled.
They didn't have any insurance. And
The driver did not have insurance. Like, so everybody except our youngest son got injured. My daughter broke her arm. My oldest son had broken ribs. One of my son's fingers got severed.
Oh my God! He's missing digits.
It's growing back. Like they sold it on.
Oh, okay.
But it was off. Like they had to find his finger and put it back on.
Reattach it.
Yeah.
Wow.
My other son had internal bleeding. Like, of course, I broke my femur and my hip.
So what happened? Like, did they hit you on your side?
Man, no, they did not hit my side of the car. It was an older lady, and we was coming back from Disney World, and she was coming up Little York, and we were going down to our house. And when I sit in the car, like if my husband driving, I'm leaning, my feet kicked up, like, or propped up, like, and I was basically sitting with one foot on top of the other, and I'm looking at my phone.
On the dashboard.
Not on the dashboard. I do not ride with my feet on the dashboard.
Man, I cannot stand those people.
Yeah, so
I judge them too.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, I remember looking at my phone and then looking up, I'm like, oh, boom.
So they hit you head on?
They came head on. They swerved into our lane and hit us head on like 50 miles an hour.
Jesus Christ.
So the impact of it, like, I think it just, the force traveled across the car, and that's how we got hurt. It hit him. Like, the truck hit his side of the car, like the driver's side of the car, but
the impact of it
shifted. The impact shifted over across the car, I feel like. And I remember, like, my leg was in like an L shape, and the first things first, when everything settled, I'm like, I yell at my kids like, hey, everybody talk right now, like. So they like, oh, like, I'm like, oh no, like. So I turn around and I look down, and my leg is like this. I'm like literally like this, bent above the knee or in the middle, my thigh.
Oh, the thigh was
my thigh bone crushed. So I'm like, I remember looking down and I look up. I said, my fucking leg is broke. He like, not spaz. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay calm.
He know you, like.
Because, like, once you lose your cool, that's when you start feeling the pain. The ambulance wasn't even there yet. Yeah. So they dragging all the kids out the car. He tried to get me out the car. They had to cut me out.
Yeah, ain't no way I'm moving.
So I said, y'all can't touch me. I'm like, y'all can't touch me. I said, my leg is broke and something else is broke. Everything felt disconnected on the left side of my body. Jeez. So I'm like, I gotta go to work. I said, how I'm gonna go to work on Monday? This is on
first thing you thinking of while you sitting on the side of the road when they just cut you out of there.
They hadn't even cut me out yet.
So you sitting there talking about work.
I'm on the phone with my sister. I said, I gotta go work on Monday. I don't know how I'm gonna go work. Like, so remember the firefighters came.
They gonna just duct tape that back on. You know what I mean?
Boy, worst pain I ever felt in my life. Like, the firefighters came and they cut me out the car or whatever. And they told me, like, I remember he grabbed my sweater. He like, hey, this about to be the worst pain you ever felt in your life. But we have to get you out of this car. Like, it's gas leaking. I'm like, y'all can't touch me. Y'all gonna have to tow the car to the hospital. Like, I can't get out. You can't touch me. Like, the seatbelt, they took the seatbelt off and they yanked me out.
Oh, what was that feeling?
Like, I still feel that sensation even saying that.
Try to explain it the best in detail. What that type of pain.
There's nothing that can describe that pain. Like, the
childbirth multiplied by what?
5 million. Like, it shot through my entire body. I went into shock. Like, I was convulsing Like, they gave me like 4 shots of fentanyl. They gave me morphine. They gave me all the drugs. Like,
everything.
I still felt it. I felt everything. Then I had to make it through X-ray. I had to make it from
They didn't
Vandalia.
put you they couldn't put you to sleep because your body's in so much trauma.
So I had to make it from Vandalia to Miami Valley. They moving my leg for X-rays. I'm looking at my leg like dismembered. I'm like, bitch, you ain't gonna never walk again.
God.
Like, I remember screaming. My sister made it to the hospital first, and the nurse, like, I'm like, give me crack. I said, give me something.
Give you crack.
Yes, I said, it hurts so bad. She's like, well, we can't do that. I said, give me more drugs. Like,
Right.
I can't feel this, you know. It took me a year to learn how to walk again. Like, this is the first year that I've, like, walked normal. I've started working out again. Like, I'm able to, like, lift weight with my leg. Like, it was one point in time where, like, I couldn't even lift my foot off the ground.
Wow.
Like, and still had to run my business that entire year.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
So, like, you having that goal to say, like, you want to walk again unassisted. I did see, like, a post about that, and a lot of people, like, supporting you. I mean, you know, like, before the accident, you know what I'm saying, people kind of looking at you different because of the LLC thing.
Mm-hmm.
Were you starting to see people kind of be more supportive
No.
at that time, or it was like...
If somebody don't like me, they don't like me. And that's okay. The people that support me and love me, like, those were the people that, you know, rallied around me in that time. So I wasn't really looking for no outside support. Them people that's on Facebook, they not sitting at the side of your bed wiping your tears and helping you to get on a bedpan and helping you to get on your walker. They're not there doing those things. So it's the people that showed up in that time that, you know, matters the most. And even though I'm not friends with her anymore, like, I definitely will never take away the fact that she was there, like, in one of, like, the most traumatic times of my life.
That's
so,
love.
you
That's
know,
love.
I ain't gonna take that away.
That's love. So, me and Smith are saving up for this thing called the Legendary Time Machine, right? So, you know what I'm saying? We're taking donations, right? But we're going to make the time machine to where guests can come on the show, go inside the time machine, and go back in time to say something to themselves. At what point in your life would you go, and what would you say to yourself if you could go back in the time machine?
I would go to age 14. I would go back to age 13. I was suicidal like 12 to 13. And like had attempted it a couple times. So if I could go back to that time and just tell myself, like, everything is gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And it just to say that.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
So here on the Legendary People podcast, we had this thing called the butterfly effect. Either something you said in the course of the interview, something I found in the course of my research that I found was truly profound and amazing. And one thing I want to say about, like, your demeanor to me is like a person that is very, very humble. Like you got like this nice aura about yourself, even though, because I've never, and I'm glad I met you this way rather than the internet telling me who you were before I get a chance to meet you. I get a whole different vibe from you.
Yeah.
And I think people who get a chance to see this story will get a chance to put things in their proper place and order and how things actually went down, especially when you put into the, you know what I'm saying, like the mix of how you were raised. Another part of the story I felt that was like a crazy parallel was, you know what I'm saying, your mom dropping you off, but then your mom also being there to pick you up. You know what I mean? Like, that to me was like poetic justice, you know what I'm saying, like within a sense. I mean, what you've been able to accomplish is legendary within itself, but the fact is, you know what I'm saying, you putting people that's in your shop that are single mothers. You're putting people in your shop that are, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, at-risk teens or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I think what you have done with your vegan products, stuff like that, are things that, like, you share, you know what I'm saying, like a different way of looking at, you know what I'm saying, caring for your hair, because, I mean, you deal with chemicals, burns and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, growing up with people putting processes and stuff like that inside your hair. So for you to be able to be that butterfly effect, to go back and change that for the next little girl that's coming up the way, I mean, you be like Madam C.J. Walker. That's why I started the interview out by calling you Madam Jerricha Hoskins, because I really do feel like those kids are going to make those papers about you.
Oh, man,
in
stop.
the future.
Thank you. I hope so.
Yeah. At this path, you know what I'm saying, it's almost certain. But It will be Legendary People Podcast fashion if I did not say to you on April 24th, 2021, you posted. I always got to do it. At least one.
What is this?
What do you think you posted?
I don't know. It's
right.
no telling.
You said, I had a dream we had a party and all the hoods from Facebook came and I fought them one by one. Tell us about this dream.
I don't even remember that dream. But
well, I got some more. I'll let you read it. There you go.
I'm not really sure where the energy came from, but a few of them was at least 340. One of them was a famous booster. Well, when I be reading the comments of people before, she still all the time had a big bag of my shoes. I remember that dream.
Okay, let's tell us about the dream now.
I be having them dreams where like people,
Vivid.
it's vivid. Like people I ain't never met. Like, yeah, I remember that dream. I feel like I pray. I don't know if it's gonna happen one day. You better be ready. But that dream was crazy. I remember waking up to I was like, "Mom, I just fought everybody in the city in that dream." Like it was a long dream.
Right.
But yeah, I be having crazy dreams.
So yeah, and also I want to say, you know what I'm saying, mad love to what Tina Reeves did, you know what I'm saying, by giving that direction. And also I'll give you some kudos to something that a lot of women should take a stance on. And I think you outlined and saying, I don't want to do it in the streets. I don't want to do this doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
You setting that being his butterfly effect that made him, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's like polish up. And I think we all get that from our girl, you know what I'm saying? So I also want to give you flowers on that as well.
Thank you.
Can you drop your social media, how people can contact you?
Y'all want to be my friend on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody know my Facebook name is Jerricha Hoskins. I'm in jail 90% of the year.
What was the last thing you did that like got you put in Facebook?
I told somebody to punch their niece in the face because she was being disrespectful.
What?
It was a joke.
What?
See, Facebook don't get my sense of humor.
Yeah, okay.
So when I be saying stuff like, okay, like I got in jail one time because I shared something hilarious, and I'm like, I hate black people.
Yeah.
Not that I hate black people,
Right.
but like black people are so
they put a Hitler
funny.
hat on
Like,
you when you said that. Like,
they I'm always I can't say nothing. And then like even this week, like every couple hours they let me out of jail, but then they restrict me again. Like I don't even want to be on Facebook, but
crazy.
I do have an Instagram, the Jerrifiles _ at the end. And of course you can follow our County Coil Care for all your hair care needs. Mm-hmm. We're at like 92,000 followers right now. I would love to get to 100,000 by the end of this year.
There you go. Go on there and get them. What's it called? Enthroned
Edges. Yes. Rubchallenge. # Rubchallenge. And stop. Now I ain't really had no problems with that no more.
What?
People was like dating, like buying extra trouble from China and like doing the Rubchallenge, hashtagging Rubchallenge like I didn't own the trademark.
Yeah.
Like
cease and desist letters will be sent to all of you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like don't do that. That's very weird.
Yeah, because when my lawyer called you talking about damages.
And when I get all the money that you made while using my trademark, that's not gonna be. You're not gonna like that.
So man, thank you so much for coming on Legendary People Podcast. You are definitely a legend, certified legend.
Thank you.
And continue to go on because what you represent is so much bigger than yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
The Legendary People Podcast, legendary people, legendary stories. Cops of church, cops of murder. Being Kaplan's not a victim. Oh my God, yeah.
All this is crazy.
I told you.
This was crazy.